Hello everyone! We are back again with more of this game. Ace Attorney Investigations number 2. We are on case 4 at long last. So this is what the screen looks like with the shady prosecutor thingy assessment thingy peoples. And yeah, let's continue. Kay lost her memory. All sorts of crazy things are going on. Kay's memory is gone. Someone named Rosie is dead. Von Karma, Franziska is back. Oh, man. Anyway, hi Kay. How you doing? Hope I've been of help to you so far. I came back here because I thought it might jog my memory. How about we go over what you remember one more time? Okay, I was standing under the tree, sheltering from the rain. Then I saw a person in a red raincoat. Let me get in my chat room real quick. Okay. In a red raincoat. And then they pushed me. Can you remember anything specific about the person in the raincoat? I'm sorry, I just can't recall anything. Oh, but there is one thing. I could see the moon over their shoulder as they came closer and closer. The moon? Yes, it's all very fuzzy, but it was in the exact same position it is right now. Hey, Edgewolf! How you doing? How was your Legend of Zelda's stream? I hope it was good. Sorry for not attending. I don't know if you're at a spoilers part or not, but I'm glad to see you here. Floating up there above the cherry blossoms, so the moon was visible over the mysterious figure's shoulder. That's new information. I should keep it in mind. Other? I keep feeling like there's something that's just on the edge of my memory. There is. It could be the clue we need. Alright, just let it float to the top of your mind and say whatever comes into your thoughts. Alright. I'm seeing... It's very faint, but I'm seeing a small restaurant, just a counter and some seats, and there's this incredible smell. A beautiful golden soup, not too thick, and it tastes just right. It's filled with delicious noodles. They're firm, but not too firm. And that's when a thought crossed my mind. I'm going to order another bowl. A captivating memory, but sadly one that has nothing to do with the case. Wah wah. You used to say you were the second great thief Yatagarasu, a noble outlaw dedicated to stealing the truth. Do you really not remember any of that? Oh! I think you're right. I was a noble. Not a noble, Kay, a noble outlaw. Still, I suppose you got halfway there. Ha ha ha. Okay. Was this... Oops. Was this TV on before last time? Guess not. 17-year-old sought in connection with lawyer slaying. As you can see, they're still hard at work up on the 50th floor. That's where the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence holds their disciplinary hearings, correct? That's right, there have been people walking by the windows all evening. This is one serious investigation. Well, this doesn't make our chances of getting out of here with Kay any rosier. We'll have to find a way to slip past the press. I'm cool and mysterious customer, Malzarino, but I'm no spy. Maybe you can use him as a decoy if things get desperate. Okay, whatever you're thinking, quit it. I can tell it doesn't end well for me. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my eye. Whoa! Hey, Foursquare! Thank you! Thank you for the thing that you just did there! What was it? It's subscribe with Prime, your 15 months, 14-month streak. Foursquare, you are crazy. How do you even do it for that long? Thank you so much, my friend. Welcome to the investigation Ace Attorneys. You are so nuts. The nutsiest. Anyway, I'm gonna deduce this right now. Not because I happened to catch it in a guide, but because of me being just that smart. Come on, that's crazy. Hey, J-Man. J-Man is back too. How you doing? Good to see you again, kiddo. How many floors does this building have? Easy. 50, right? Kinda ironic that it's just a few feet above where the committee works its ugly little schemes. Is a place where starry-eyed young romantics come to wish for everlasting smoochy times. But then, what's that dark space above the 50th floor? The gloomy underbelly of love? Wait a minute. Exactly. The committee chamber is supposed to be on the top floor, directly beneath the viewing platform, but it actually appears to be located one floor below that. Clearly contradiction the supposed facts. Maybe whoever wrote the pamphlet made a mistake. Somehow, I don't think so. Call me crazy, but yes, there appears to be a hidden 51st floor. Well, well, well. Wow, and that's where they keep the gloomy underbelly of love? Heck, my heart, you didn't need to take it quite so literally, Kay. Good, then perhaps you can take this more seriously instead. Come on, have you met me, Miles? That might be easier said than done. It'll still be easier than trying to enjoy your so-called jokes. But yeah, how's everyone been today? Tell me of your travels. My travels today were quite crazy. I visited a little scarecrow showing event, and then I went to the cider mill, and it showed delicious donuts. It was so good. And I got some cider too. So railing, the moon, where Kay was standing. These two might be kind of weird. Okay, well, I'll just go F myself then. Okay, so we'll do the moon. The moon and the railing? Okay, cool. Looking back over what Kaya said. But yeah, what did you do today, Hedgewolf, Foursquare, and J-Man? Tell me of your travels if you can all still hear me. Work too hard? Oh no, the work is annoying. Great. This case is too hard. Every case is too hard. I mean, thinking back over what Kay had said. But it's almost Christmas! You know what time it is first, Foursquare? Halloween! This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Are you ready for some Halloweens, Foursquare? The person in the raincoat approached her from the direction of the concession stand, which implies that she was pushed over the railing on the side opposite the stand. But she also said that she could see the moon over this person's shoulder. But when we checked just now, the moon was in a different location than expected. Kay claims it's currently in the same spot in the sky as on the night of the incident. That throws the positions of the moon and the person in the raincoat out of alignment with her story. You're in a hurricane? Oh no, you're in the hurricane, Hedgewolf? Be careful, okay? Like, seriously, be very careful. I heard that hurricane is no joke. No laughing matter. I think her memories may have become confused somehow. What's more, if she really had been pushed over that railing, she would have never survived the fall. Therefore, I must conclude that she may not have fallen where she thought she did. Where Kay was standing, where Kay fell. Godspeed, yeah. Can this hurricane be over already, please? Can it be over? No more hurricane, please. How can Hedgewolf stream if she's in a hurricane? You may have fallen, Kay, but it couldn't have been over the railing, because if you had, you wouldn't be alive now to tell the tale. But I definitely remember standing under that tree. If I was pushed the other way, I would have fallen as over that railing, isn't it? Not unless the ground opened up and swallowed you whole. The ground can just open up like that? How? My bad, not a joking matter. Sorry, kiddo. But it may also be closer to the truth than you think, Fender. Let's take another look at the ground in that area. There's a chance we might have missed something. Oh, the ground? Kay couldn't have fallen over the railing. So where did she fall? There must be a clue around here somewhere. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my eye. Like this. What's this? Looks like a service hatch. Kay, do you think you might have fallen down here instead? As long as you have internet and power, streaming is plausible. Good. Keep the stream alive. Keep the hopes alive. I'm sorry, I just can't say one way or another. My bad, kiddo. Just another one of my silly musings. You don't have to take me so seriously, you know? I don't? Never? Well, maybe not never. If I told you to leap lyrically into my arms. Fender! Chill, Miles Arena. Where's your sense of whimsy? So, never then? Ouch. Talk about a deep cut. Let's save the game again. And now, are you all ready to collect the final things? Is the 51st floor the hatch? It might be. How has no one noticed a floor between the 50th floor and the viewing platform until just now? You got me there. Kinda hard to hide a set of stairs going up to it, if you ask me. That's precisely it. Things like stairs that are normally out in the open are going unnoticed by people seems a bit implausible, which can only mean the 51st floor is no ordinary floor, and can't be reached by ordinary means. Then we'll just have to reach it through extraordinary means, right? I don't know about extraordinary means. Maybe let's go for unconventional? Indeed. Consider, if you will, the hatch we found by the cherry tree. What would you expect to find on the other side of such a hatch? A room of some kind, perhaps? Oh, a secret room? Now you're talking my language. Let's go take a look. Alright, there we go. What is this place? Look at all the stuff down there. It's, a storeroom? Whatever it is, I think we can safely say that this is where you fell. Go, team, strike one mystery off the list. Yes, but the greater mystery of Kay's memory loss remains unsolved. We have a red rain-coated figure who can walk on air to account for, among other things. Hey, can't a guy bask in his success for a second? So we found a hidden storeroom. I vote we scooch on down and check it out. We have pretty much exhausted everything up here, and it can't hurt to take a look. Yay! Is that you, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, look who it is! Emma, what are you doing here? It's Emma! Woo! I heard about what happened from Detective Gumshoe. I was in the area, so I thought I'd come by and see what's going on. This is Emma Skye. She's a high school student, currently studying in Europe to become a forensic scientist. The younger sister of a former superior of mine, who we've also stood in court together. The detective called me up in a panic. He said your batch fell off of the big building and the cave was in a man's suit and... Hold it right there. Didn't you just leave to go back to Europe a few days ago? And you're back again already? Yep, I'm here with one of my professors, but not to do any schoolwork or anything, just some interpreting. Then shouldn't you be off doing that instead of gallivanting around a crime scene? Oh, it's fine. There's this wonderful thing called body language after all. That's not an actual language, Emma. Anyway, never mind me. This is about Kay. How is she? Where is she? Ah, shucks, isn't that sweet, Kay Meister? Your little friend is worried about you. Oh, yes. Who's this guy? Don't tell me you went and got a new assistant, Mr. Edgeworth. Very funny, young lady. It's actually the other way around, I'll have you know. Eddie Fender, attorney at law, and senior partner at Edgeworth & Co. law offices. Edgeworth? So you are his assistant? Wait, attorney? Since when were you a defense attorney? I'm not. To say it's complicated is an understatement. Let's not sweat the details for now, yeah? First things first. But an attorney, Mr. Edgeworth? Really? Oof, it's like I'm not even here. What is this, some kind of weird experiment? Perhaps we should head down below. I'll explain there. I agree. The police could be here any minute. And who's this? I'll explain later, Emma. Come on, time to go. Oh, alright, but you'd better explain yourself, Mr. Hotshot Pro Attorney? Trust me, I'll explain that too. Okie dokie doo, down the hatch we go. To be continued. Dun, 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 dun. Emma's gonna solve the case, guys. Emma's gonna do the thing with the solving of the case or whatever. It's dark as a grave down here. Can't see the nose in front of my roguishly handsome face. Watch your step, Emma. Ouch! I hit my head on something! Make your way down slowly, Kay. I don't want you to slip. Oh, yes, Mr. Edgeworth. There's gotta be a light switch here somewhere. Bingo. Oh, this is... So the hidden 51st floor really is being used as a storeroom. We'll need to take a careful look over all these items. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm getting flashbacks like crazy right now. Alright, Mr. Edgeworth, you promised me an explanation or three. I did indeed. Where to even start? Wow, what's been happening, huh? What a case. It's not supposed to fill you with excitement, Emma. Seems you've gotten yourself into a real pickle, Mr. Prosecutor Attorney. I'm not an attorney, or a prosecutor anymore. Well, whatever you are, I think it's time for science to lend a helping hand. Don't worry, I brought my entire kit with me. Well, if you're sure. Are you kidding? I live for moments like this. Here, let's make this all official. Good working with you again, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Miss Sky. And then there were 4. Right, everyone? Let's get to work. I want to know where that elevator goes. Looks like it goes down. It's something we'll certainly want to investigate further, but we should look around up here first. Aye, aye, Captain. Let me know if you find anything juicy. I'll keep trying to see what I can remember. I'll let you know if anything comes to mind. Thank you, Kay. Emma? Ready, willing, and able to investigate, Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, then let's begin. I see a lot of familiar things in this room, guys. Let's examine... nope, wrong room. Examine talk. Here we go. Ask me anything, I'm all ears. Can't believe they suspect poor Kay. It's outrageous. I couldn't agree more, but the best thing we can do right now is to stay calm and look for clues. Except, I've been scientifically processing the situation, and I think I've come up with a better idea. Maybe we could administer some carefully targeted electric shocks directly to Kay's brain. What do you say? Might be just the thing to bring her memory back online. That sounds more than a little risky. It sounds incredibly risky, in fact. Personally, I'm still of the opinion that searching this room for clues is the better option. Really? But a little risk is what science is all about. Yes, a little being the operative phrase. I'm back for a little while to interpret for my professor, but I'm still mostly based in Europe. Gotta keep studying until I'm the finest forensic investigator under the sun. I'm very glad to hear you say that. Dedication to one's chosen field is a student's greatest responsibility. It sure is, but I don't just want to get ahead of academically. I've been trying hard at sports too, especially that one event they have at school athletic meets. You know the one. There are quite a few to choose from. It's huge over there, and unlike here, it's considered a real hardcore sport for adults. That's right, I'm talking about glasses battles. Wasn't heard of those, right? Me, never, not even once. Awarded! Glasses battle. What the flip is a glasses battle, guys? It's kinda creepy, all these masks lined up here in the dark. Not a fan of horror movies, I take it. No way! That stuff's so unscientific. I think you mispronounced terrifying. Oh boy, we see some familiar and not familiar faces here, guys. Deduce. Not deduce. That mask, that's global hero Onyan Kopan. And why is that so shocking? You really don't know? Everything about the show is secret, where it's on TV, who makes it, so the merchandise is super rare. It sounds to me like whoever made it may have simply gone out of business. That's Captain Saipan. He's a super popular overseas. Everybody loves dressing up like him. Kids, adults, you name it. I find the flowers on his head a little excessive myself. What TV show are these from? I don't know a whole lot about it, but I believe it's called The Students of Starry School. About an elementary school where the students are all superheroes. So their masks are modeled on sports safety helmets or something, right? And maybe the store number of slit eyes tell you their student ID number. So the one on the left would be number 1 and the right number 2. Suppose that could be it, yes. And would that mean a ton of slits for the kids with the highest ID numbers? I have to admit to being a little intrigued by this show now. No, maybe it's fine. We all know this one, right? She's the only heroine of the Steel Samurai needs. You can say that again. I love the Pink Princess. You watch shows like that, Emma? Of course. You love them too, right? Well, I don't really know all that much about them, but sure. Really? Because I saw the Steel Samurai figure in your office, so I thought... Arg, I can't believe Emma's seen it. There's a selection of masquerades on the rack here. There's even a Steel Samurai. And what an impressively authentic likeness it is, too. The scientist in me is sensing something strange, though. Lack of consistency, you know? In the sense that the characters represented here feel a little haphazard somehow. I don't disagree. There's even an empty space here. Yeah, just an empty hook right in the middle. Someone using that one, perhaps? Maybe. It's the Steel Samurai and the Nickel Samurai. The Nickel Samurai always seems kind of pleased with himself to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not just about being skinny and cool, you know? There's more to it than that. I'm Team Steel all the way. Heh, you've just gone up in my estimation, Emma. Ha 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 ha. What is this? These are all case files from various murders. What? But why would they be in here? They should be safely under lock and key at the courthouse or the prosecutor's office, which would suggest that somebody removed them without permission. Something very suspicious is going on here. We need to find out more. Very suspicious, guys. Does anyone see something suspicious here, maybe? Yes. This. Kay was carrying a Jammin' Ninja mask when she was found, but it looks like it might have originally come from this hook. Scientifically speaking, that doesn't seem like a crazy hypothesis, which would mean that Kay was really here? As you put it, not a crazy hypothesis, but why? Did she come to steal something, maybe? There's all kinds of stuff here. Because she's a great thief who steals the truth, I suppose. No, I think it's too early to jump to any conclusions. So what's the deal, huh? These are... What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? If I'm not mistaken, several of the items on display here are pieces of evidence from old cases of mine, but what are they doing here? Maybe this is where the committee stores stuff it's looking into? It can't be. Evidence like this is stored at the police department. They don't keep stuff on the prosecutor's office, too? When a case is ongoing, yes, but once the last trial is finished up, it's supposed to go right back to the precinct, unless there's a very good reason for it to go elsewhere. And yet, here it all is. There's no point in trying to figure out the whys right now. I should take a closer look at it all. They all have labels. Labels with numbers printed on them. Exhibit numbers, maybe? You said they were all pieces of evidence, right? Yes, but judging by how the numbers are written and by the items themselves, I guess these are prices. For prices? I never would have guessed that. Wait, but none of this stuff could be worth that much money, could it? The prices are very high indeed, so it's no wonder she's surprised. Must have examined everything! Ah! What is this? A mannequin, huh? Wait, I know. All thanks to my powers of scientific deduction, of course. It's evidence from an old case of yours, right? Not this time. I've never seen it before in my life. It doesn't seem to fit with the other items in the room either. For one thing, it doesn't have a price tag. So why is it here? I remember this. That's cute. That's a cute little doll. It looks kind of like the Steel Samurai. It's actually the Iron Infant, son of the Steel Samurai and the Pink Princess. He was born burdened with the knowledge that he, too, will one day be called upon to fight for justice. I can't imagine the pressure that must have put him under, more than most people could bear. Yes, he's young, but you can sense it nonetheless, a certain tragic refinement. Edgeworth, Mr. Edgeworth, are you even listening to me? Oh, of course. Aw, isn't he a cutie? Look at this fluffy little guy. That's the stuffed animal we found at Gourd Lake. There it is. He should be in the possession of the prosecutor in charge of the case. So how did he wind up here? Aw, but look, he's missing his left horn. He is, but he never had it in the first place. At least it's not as far as we ever saw. Defective merchandise, huh? I mean to contact the manufacturer. I demand a recall. Now that I come to think of it, why would anyone give the president a broken toy to begin with? Oh man. So this storeroom is actually more of a stockroom? It would seem so, much as it pains me to consider such a thing. What kind of person sells off evidence from serious criminal cases? And who too? Why, who would even want to pay for all this stuff? Somebody clearly. The price tags are proof of that. Wow, people really will collect things, huh? Fascinating. I want to see more. That's odd. This is the only spot with nothing on it. But it still has one of those signs in front of it. Indeed. And look, there's an outline in the dust on top of the cloth. I'd say something was probably sitting here until quite recently, wouldn't you? You know what? I think you might be right. But, I'm drawing a blank trying to imagine what. Well, I might have an idea. A star-shaped outline. Don't we have a piece of evidence that might well be connected? I don't know. This? Deduce. Yes. Candelabra. The outlines in the dust matches the bottom of the candelabrium exactly. I'd say there's a very strong chance that this is where our murderer took it from. Which would mean the candelabrum was evidence from another case. Certainly seems likely, but that's not our concern right now. The key thing to note is that the murder weapon was taken from this storeroom. Oh, we can examine the safe. A bottle of ink and a lantern, both pieces of evidence from a previous case of mine. But why? What's all this stuff that's related to you doing here? It's not as if any of it was in my possession for any length of time, the duration of the case, and no longer. Mask. Yes, there's a mask. And there's a lot of things. Perhaps it's all nothing but a coincidence. Seriously, a coincidence? I never thought I'd hear those words coming out of your mouth. You must always face up to the facts of a situation, however strange it may be. Isn't that what scientists believe too? Oh, you want to talk about what scientists believe? Settle in, this may take a while. It's a small bottle, one I've seen before. Oh, that's all? Nothing else to add? Well, no. What more did you want me to say? Hold up, I've got to write this down. Mr. Edgeworth can turn even the most boring topics into something picturesque with his explanations. Dirk, next time try to take those kind of notes in silence. So that's it here. Is that a Badgermobile in the background, by the way? I think it is. There's videotapes. Scientifically speaking, I'd say this looks like some kind of wooden icebox. Yeah, the chains are probably to stop the cold air from escaping. I don't mean to contradict you, Emma, but isn't just this a box for storing clothes in? The wood is imbued with a natural repellent that keeps moths away. Oh, yeah, sure, guess you could look at it that way, too. Keeping your clothes chilled would be nice for the summer, right? Still not prepared to let go of that particular part of your hypothesis, I see. Alright, what about this? Bunch of trophies, and oh look, somebody's left a walkie-talkie here. It looks to me like it was put there deliberately, rather like it's on display, to be honest. Hey, there are batteries in here too. It could be useful. Let's take it with us. Nobody will mind if we use it for a little while, will they? I can take it to the police station afterward. Someone's starting to sound like a certain great thief. Ho 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 ho. I wonder if that walkie-talkie is the killer's old walkie-talkie. Is that Mr. Monkey over there? Whoa, that's one heck of a desk. I wonder who it belongs to. There are 4 male figures acting as legs holding up the table in the center. It's hideously cringy. Oh, is that Red White's desk? Oh no. And it doesn't even have the good decency to be camp enough to loop back around. Is this from one of your old cases too, Mr. Edgeworth? No, I can't think of anyone related to any of my investigations with such instantaneously awful tastes. At least I don't think there was. Oh, there was, Edgy. There was. And look at the background. It's the picture. It's the picture. The picture of the person. Oh my gosh, guys, there's so many things in this game. Pile of banknotes just left out for all to see. Little tasteless, wouldn't you say? No way, these are $100 bills. That's a fortune right here. Is it real? How many years would it take for you to make that much money, Mr. Edgeworth? Please, Emma, I don't even want to think about it. What is that giant head thing? It's the head of the great Mrs. Monkey. I remember the case well. But how did they even get it up here? Huh? Mrs. Monkey? That doesn't sound right. Are you sure you didn't get the name wrong, Mr. Edgeworth, or misremembering it somehow? Gurk, don't be ridiculous, as if I'd ever make such a mistake. And don't forget this statue. This statue. What is it? Got some new data for me? Not exactly. It's just something from a case I worked on, a piece of evidence. I believe it's called the Alfred statue. And there were two of them, a real one and a fake. Whichever one this is, it shouldn't be here of all places. An old case, huh? Guess you have worked on a bunch of different... Uh-oh. Oh, gosh. Gotcha! Oh, gosh, guys. And the hits just keep on coming. Careful, caught in the act, red-handed, red-dang-handed. Guiltier than a tomcat covered in cream. Ah! My eyes. Stop that at once. Ain't no stopping my snapping, not till I got every dang detail and then some. Y'all think I'm about to let a bunch of dirty criminals go before I get the shot? Think again. We're not criminals. Yeah, sure. Pull the other one. It's got bells on. This here camera's a weapon of justice. It ain't about to be hornswoggled by your cheap denials. Oh, it's you. Huh? Why, you're that low-down, dirty jerk of a prosecutor, ain't ya? Who are you calling low-down, dirty jerk? This is Lotta Hart, a photojournalist by trade. We've crossed paths on a few occasions, especially on that one particular case. She's hard to forget, and even harder to get a word in edgewise with. Quit making that face, will ya? That's the face of a no-good schemer if I ever saw one. Seems I didn't leave the best of impressions on her either. Well, it's payback time, Mr. Schemer. You ought to be thankful alls I want from you is a couple of pictures. But we're just here to investigate. Sure you are, and if by investigate you mean pull the wool over Lotta's mile-wide eyes? Sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, I thought she might listen to me. It didn't hurt to try, I guess, but we're probably better off leaving her alone for now. We'll just leave her alone. Bye! Oh, we better talk to her. You said this statue was a piece of evidence from an old case of yours, right? It's pretty weird looking, I have to say. It's known as the Alfred statue. The what? The Alfred statue. But it says here it's called the Aleph Red statue. Aleph Red, Alfred, Aleph Red. What are you muttering about? Oh, nothing. Let's carry on looking around, shall we? What are you doing here, Lotta? So, what are y'all doing snooping around a fishy old place like this anyhow? I think it's us who should be asking you that. Me? I'm in it for the truth, for good old society, and for little old me, of course. I'm what you might call a photographer for the people. Snapping here, snapping there, snapping every dang where. I'll just leave you to it then. We can talk once you've gotten it out of your system later. Well, we talk to you. Talk to you. Wow, this is some sturdy construction. Thick floor plate, sturdy supports. At a rough estimate, I'd say it could hold 50 of you easily, Mr. Edgeworth. Except for the fact that it's nowhere near big enough. You say that, but pack yourself in tight enough and I think you might just do it. I really don't think so. Anyway, we have more important things to be investigating. We can theorize about the elevator once we're done. Maybe you're right. Fine, 45, Mr. Edgeworth's 48 tops. Oh boy, this whole experience is enough to boggle a guy's mind. Mysterious storerooms, damsels in distress, it's got the lot. Could you at least try to take things a little more seriously, Fender? Hey, I can try. No, but seriously, I'm as keen to helping Kay out as you are. She's safe with me. You go do your thing. It's not Kay I'm worried about, it's you. Oh, snap. I guess I've seen everything this room has to offer. Right, guys? Except the ladder. Or maybe not. Nope, we've seen everything. You know what that means. It's logic time. Price tags, a lot of money. We've seen items of old evidence marked with price tags, along with a huge pile of cash. Very logic. We love the logics. I think it's pretty clear that somebody has been running an illicit trade in judicial goods. Shady deals on a hidden 51st floor? This is big. It has to be, right? I think it might be, but we'll need to investigate a little further yet. We need to find out more about what's going on here. If only there was an eyewitness we could interview. An eyewitness, huh? I wonder if, Lotta. Why exactly are you here, Miss Hart? Me? I told you. I'm in it for the truth, for the good of us society, and for little old me, of course. I'm a photographer for the people. For the people? If you won't tell me the real reason you're here, perhaps I can hazard a guess. Somebody was carrying out an illicit police evidence trafficking scheme here in the storeroom. Oh, so she's after a juicy story. Makes sense. What? How'd you all figure that out? Guess it means I don't have to tippy-toe around it anymore now. One of my sources told me on the down low about an underground auction. What? So all the items here were sold to the highest bidder? Folks were slinging money around like it was going out of fashion. Had to come see for myself, of course. Get eyes on my subject, you know? Should have heard the tales my contact was telling. Taller than 2 feet, so 2 trees. So I thought at first. Anyhow, wasn't about to write it up based on hearsay alone. So yesterday I snuck in, slunk behind this here statue, and settled in to wait. But bidding started late at night and carried right on through to the break of dawn. So the auction and the murder happened on the same night? Coincidence? Dirty deals in a secret storeroom? Talk about a story. Was there anything else on sale apart from the items of evidence in this room? Sure, there were regular old stuff too. Shady artworks from who knows where, that kind of thing. In what way are shady artworks regular exactly? But the evidence was the big draw, of course. Reckon they were selling faster than the crooks could smuggle them out the cop and prosecutor shops. And I'll bet you got pictures of the whole thing, right, Miss Hart? Well, you see, the main event was down below. I had to try and see what I could from up here. Having been up here since yesterday, I assume you witnessed the entire auction from start to finish, then. It was an underground affair, like I said, so folks wasn't exactly giving much away. All them customers came down one at a time from up on the roof there. Threw on mess, then just as soon as they got down the ladder, and that ain't all. They had voice changer doodads on them, see? Teeny tiny ones, dinkier than a bug's behind. So you couldn't see their real faces, and you couldn't hear their real voices. Surreptitious as all heck. You mean surreptitious, right? I can't say that word either. Was Kate's promised notebook maybe sold then? Oh, maybe. There's that one note that said, what was it? Oh, that's not it. I'll make sure to get your precious thing back. So maybe Rosie was part of the, thing? Or something? So maybe it was being sold like you said there? I surely do. Sweet, sweet surreptitude. Also not a word. Anywho, once they had their gear on, they went right on downstairs. And then came the next one. When it came time to leave, they all done the same, but in reverse. Up they came again, one by one by one. Mess back on the hook, up the ladder and away. Whoa, that's a serious operation. And how many participants were there? 11 altogether. I counted them when they came down the ladder. Ho ho. I didn't just hide behind a stupid statue the whole time, you know? You didn't? Then where were you? Well, when I first got here, You know what? That ain't important right now. So you were hiding behind the statue from the very beginning. Anywho, I watched all them folks come in from my spying spot there in the windows, in the shadows. I see. So you were watching from behind the statue. They used that there elevator to get down below, and once they were all down there, I snuck up and took me a peek at what was going on. You mean the elevator remained in the room beneath? No, they sent it back up, but there's a little peeky hole if you know where to look. Elevator don't quite sit flush with the floor, see? And if you bend down and squint just right, you can see the whole shebang. Did you catch sight of who was in charge? Alright, sure, I guess I did. Ain't half so good a story if you don't get a glimpse of the evil ringleader after all. Wonder who this ringleader is. I'll have to ask her some more. Who's the ringleader? You mentioned a ringleader. Can you tell me anything more about them? Y'all should know I came here to get me an exclusive. And an exclusive ain't much dang good if you done spilled the beans already. I see, so you don't actually know anything about them. You think that's why she won't give us the answer? An answer? Makes sense, I guess. You got me. Couldn't see if it was a man or a woman, or a kid or an old-timer, nothing. What were they wearing? Could you see that at least? Sure, white jacket, white gloves, and a magenta flower on the lapel. Them's three things is what I remember. But what's good a description of the outfit if I don't got a clue who was wearing it? So the ringleader disguised their identity too, just like everybody else. Yes sirree, mask, voice changer, the whole 9 yards. They were wearing one of the masks. Which one? Let me see. Oh yeah, this guy, Zurvan. Zurvan? What kind of name is that? Seriously, Mr. Edgeworth, you never heard of Zurvan? He's global hero Onyan Kopan's arch nemesis. I wasn't heard of Zurvan the Time Lord. I think you might be better off asking who has. So you didn't get a glimpse of their face at all. Nope, I dang well didn't, which kinda scotches my scoop. Sniffle, this whole mess has been nothing but a snipe hunt. I shoulda never come. You know of somebody who was dressed like that. Maybe I should try showing that evidence to Miss Hart. Yo, Miss Hart. I don't remember who was dressed like that. Oh, her. Was she the leader? You said that the ringleader was wearing a white jacket, white gloves, and a magenta flower, correct? Sure did. Don't ask me why they was dressed up like a peacock on parade day, but they was. Is this the outfit you saw? Well, holy smokes, it sure as heck is. But, wait, so the big cheese is dead? Excuse me. All we know is that she is the victim in the case we're investigating. Her name was Rosie Ringer. Do you know her? Nope. So the ringleader was a lady. Ringer? 'Cause a ring lady? Hey, Belle. How you doing? Haven't been in this chat in a long time. Well, welcome back. How have you been, my friend? How's life treating ya? Well, ain't that just a slippier than a dang eel? Throwing me off with a man's jacket like that? I hardly think she did it to fool you specifically. But setting that aside for now, what's important is that we've discovered something vital to the case. Namely that the underground auction was chaired by none other than our victim. So somebody done bumped off the boss, huh? Then what was that happening? When was what happening? Oh, nothing at all. Y'all just go about your business now. No offense, Miss Hart, but that made you sound about 5 times more suspicious. You're good. That's good. What have you been up to these days? Belle? And you're first! Yay! You're the first one here! Suspicious my foot, I told ya, it's nothing. And you won't get nothing more out of me than that. Wait, so there is more? How many dang times do I gotta tell ya? There ain't nothing, okay? And I ain't saying nothing either way. Aw, you can tell us just a little more. Pretty please. Nothing much. That's good. Nothing much is better than something bad, am I right? I'll tell you this, okay? I'm a journalist, a news hound, a scoop hunter, you hear? Exclusive articles go out, money comes in. That's how the game is played. Tell you more? Heck, I done tell you too much already. Wait, what if I, examine some fingerprints for you? Pro bono? What kind of a cock-a-mime you think you is that? I'd sooner get a tooth pulled. You want intel, you gotta dig it up yourselves, just like I had to. Okay, guess she isn't gonna talk to either of us. Oh, she will. I'll handle things from here, Emma. There's a certain technique I find useful when dealing with difficult customers such as her. She may not give up the information voluntarily, but that doesn't mean she can't be persuaded to. Guess what time it is, guys? Let's start by observing our opponent. I ain't telling y'all nothing, you hear? Now quit wasting my time before I really blow a fuse. As we've seen, she's very quick-tempered. She'll try to cut the conversation dead whenever possible. Won't have much time to think, so I'll need to be swift and decisive. Miss Hart is definitely hiding something from me. So my first move is to discover what that something is. Mind chess! Commence! Mind chess time? Yes, it is. Here we go. I need you to tell me everything you know, and don't you dare leave anything out. Go jump in a creek, you big bully. Why should I tell you anything? You don't got nothing to do with me, nor me with you neither. I don't have a clue as to how to proceed with this line of questioning. Better try another tack. I can see you're a little agitated, Miss Hart. Let's just calm down and try talking about— I am calm, dang you. Leastwise, I will be just as soon as y'all quit yanking my dang chain. Go, Walty! Thanks. You do realize you have nowhere to turn, don't you? Oh, quit riding me, will ya? This whole thing's a waste of my precious time. That was the wrong answer, by the way. There's nothing obvious to latch on to here, so I'm gonna be shooting blanks for a while. Loading. Loading. You do realize you have nowhere to turn, don't you? Oh, quit riding me, will ya? The whole thing's a waste of my precious term. Yep. Normally it's, like a scene that I can react to, but this time it's words. And I don't know what shutting down a conversation means, really. That's better. Being a news hound's all about keeping a cool head no matter what the world throws at you, see? Speaking of news hounds, this might interest you. I met one a few days ago. She was a very hungry young reporter indeed. A reporter with a very particular turn of phrase, similar to your own, in fact. Oh yeah? She spoke like me, huh? Guess that could have been someone I know. Her name is Tabby Lloyd, and if I had closed my eyes I could have believed I was listening to you. She told me about somebody she called the Chief. She was talking about you, wasn't she? Oh, so y'all met Tabby, huh? Well, ain't that something? Why did y'all bump into her? She's a great kid, reckon? Wait. Oh, no you don't. You ain't getting on my good side bringing her into this, you sneaky snake. Oh, you nearly had me too. Interesting. Talking about Miss Lloyd seems to make her lower her guard a little. I think we can use that to our advantage. Time to deploy my clue. I don't have anything to do with you. That's a little unkind, don't you think? After all, I know your apprentice. I know you her pretty well, in fact. Shutting down a conversation, I think, is when you're trying to force the conversation to end, maybe? I guess so, but I wouldn't know what that would even, look like. That's the big problem here. Yeah, well, guess it doesn't seem kinda cold of me to say that you knew her pretty good. Wouldn't want the poor kid thinking I don't give a rat's behind. Good, then you'll tell us what you know. Fine, see, it's like this. Got me a scoop, but wait, what am I thinking? Dang it, Lila, you can't let them bamboozle you that easy. What was that about a scoop? Oh, forget it. It was nothing. Is that what it looks like? Wish there wasn't two choices. How embarrassing. A professional journalist making a careless slip of the tongue. You have a scoop on you. Now tell me what it is. Ack. Alright, I got me a scoop. A big one. But I can't just go blabbing about it to y'all. I got bills to pay. She may be hiding something very important. I have to get it out of her somehow. We need to know the details of the scoop. Yay! She's quick to anger, but she's also quick to let key information slip. Now that we know that, the rest shouldn't be too hard. Let's see what else we can get out of her. Let's save the game again. Hey, stars over Hyrule, what's up? I'm gonna stretch. Oh my gosh. I'm also gonna get a drink real quick. Oh. I'm good, how are you? I am good also. Just doing another mind chess thingy. Your big scoop involves something criminal in nature, doesn't it? Meh, might be it did, might be it didn't. Which is it? This is important. Alright, you don't gotta holler at me like that. Ain't done nothing shameful or nothing. Snuck in and did some undercover reporting. Went to the cider mill today. Silent treatment, huh? Well, two can play at that game. Nah, perhaps a little more proactivity is called for. Yeah, this is a little beyond my knowledge here. Your big scoop involve vanilla. Delicious. Yes. I'll be the judge of whether your actions were shameful or not. An unlawful entry into a private property is very shameful indeed. In fact, it's a crime. Hey, you did the exact same thing, genius. Aw, but I guess you're a prosecutor, huh? You're allowed to do stuff like that. Let's not mention the fact that I handed in my badge, shall we? Still, don't amount to a whole hill of beans, right? There's folks out there that have done way worse. Murder, for one. Next to murder, trespassing ain't hardly nothing. Biding me time. Okay, nope. Yeah, Lotta's too tough. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what the flip I'm even done the doing. So I'm just doing blanks or whatever. From your mutterings about the murder just now, I gather that your scoop has something to do with the homicide. Nah, I was just talking all hypothetical like, you know, about the murder being the big one and all. Ain't nothing worse than the murder. Not the most skilled evasion I've heard in my career. Look, I done told you, okay? Snuck into the auction, I'll cop to that. But a murder? I don't know nothing about no murder. I ain't seen nothing, I ain't heard nothing. Scout's honor. So to clue it out to proceed with this line of questioning, better try another tack. The scoop of yours, does it have something to do with the auction? You know what? I clean forget. But you try to infiltrate the underground auction. Only stands to reason that you observed something. Otherwise, what would you have to write about? I don't know what to tell you. I didn't hear nothing. So she's not angry. So I guess we gotta do one of these. You realize you have nowhere to turn, don't you? Oh, quit writing me, will ya? No, don't save. Oh my gosh, don't save. Bad idea. Don't save over a failure. You didn't hear the sound of nothing. Does that mean you did hear the sound of something? Something during your time in this room. Well, see, wasn't nothing really. Just a little noise is all. Wouldn't even make page 16. Forget I mentioned it. So something happened during the auction. Something that made a noise of some kind. This could be a valuable clue. I gotta save again because I forgot what choice I chose here. I forgot the choice I chose. Once again... Oh, no. It's, the scoop. From your mutterings about a murder just now, I gather that you did the murder. Ah! Then deploy my clue. You told me you heard something during the auction. You claimed it wasn't important, but it must have been. Otherwise, why remember it? I think it was something very memorable indeed. In fact, I believe it was the cry of a murder victim. Ah, how did you keep doing that? All right, it's true. I wound up smack dab in the middle of a murder scene, but only by accident. And that's all you're getting out of me. Won't be no scoop left otherwise. The murder Miss Hart witnessed. It must be the same murder we ourselves have been investigating. That should prove to be a very valuable piece of information indeed. But we should finish up by confirming the credibility of her claim. I have her on the back foot now. Time to finish this. I don't know why I'm saving it here. I don't know why I am. I just am. I need you to describe the murder in detail. It's vitally important. Wish I could help you all, but I don't rightly recall a whole bunch. Ain't much I can tell you. Sorry. I mean, look at me. Can't even get my facts straight half the time. So no clue here. You just realized in the smuggling ring Francisca's been chasing maybe the evidence auction? Are you saying like the evidence ring and the smuggling ring are like the same somehow? Could be. Be honest, Miss Hart. I know there's something you're still not telling me. Ain't nothing left to tell, dang it. I done spilled my guts already. No clue here either. You said you wound up in the middle of a murder scene. Is that really true? You're calling me a liar now? Ooh-wee, now I'm mad. Real mad. So the game said to do the thing, to bide my time. I'm a journalist. How am I supposed to sell stories if folks can't trust that I'm telling the truth? You got me a motto, you know? Faster than anybody. Oh, honester than everybody. A motto, huh? That could be an important clue. I should bear it in mind. I'm deploy my clue. I can't imagine being so vague on the facts is a trait valued among journalists. Surely accuracy and honesty are what's necessary when reporting on a story. Smuggling the evidence? Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it's just a different ring altogether. I don't know, to be honest. Well, see? It seems your so-called information is not credible after all. Look, there was a murder, and I was there. I can even prove it. Grumble. Oh, crap. Why are you doing that, game? Why did you save it there? Nope. The second I see you have nowhere to turn to, that's how I know. That's how I know it's the wrong answer. You can prove it, can you? How? I've got it right. Wait, you heard that? I was just talking to myself. Don't think nothing of it. She's still hiding something. This is a very vital clue. I'll need to use it to the maximum effect. Was it the middle that I did with the middle? And to avoid my clue. I know you've been keeping something from me, and that something is proof. Proof related to the murder you witnessed. Proof sound enough to form the basis of a story you're hoping to sell. Ah! Dang it all to heck. Give me a break, will ya? I'll come clean, okay? That's what you want, right? Here, I done snapped me a photo. Happy now? You better be. And that's checkmate. Yay! I did it! Can't believe I let that happen. Betrayed by my own big mouth. Well, it happened, so it's time to tell us everything. I saw the whole thing, watched that auction from start to finish. But you didn't just watch it, right? You took pictures too? Yeah, about that. So like I said, I was spying on the whole thing right from the get-go. It was all shouting out bids that somebody'd win something and bam, down comes the hammer. Head on upstairs and pay, shouts the old ringleader, and then the whole thing starts over again. Anyhow, as soon as that happened, I had to think quick. That's when I ran behind that there statue and hid. And who was it that they eventually appeared? Didn't see nothing, but I heard something that made me pretty sure it was whoever placed the winning bid. The sweet, sweet sound of cold, hard cash. I'm not sure I have any idea what that sounds like. That sound of someone counting bills, perhaps? Anyhow, the deal was you settled your bills up here. There were 2 people yammering for a little while. Wait, 2 people came up on the elevator? You betcha. I guess the other one was our friend the ringleader. Anyway, yabber, yabber, yabber. It goes on for a little while, then ah, scream! Well, that shook me up pretty good, so I hunkered down in my hiding place, tried to stay out of sight. You didn't see the moment of the murder? Nah, but I heard it real good. You didn't try and help whoever was being attacked? Quit trying to be funny, girlie. Doesn't suit you none. I'm just a dainty little journalist, all on her lonesome. You think I was fixing to jump in and save the day? Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Dainty? Anyhow, then there was a bunch of rustling sounds. Right about when that was happening, I got to feeling pretty bad about what I'd done. That makes sense, I guess. After all, you didn't remember to get out my camera and snap even a single picture. Scoop like that drops right in my lap and I miss it. Somebody ought to tan my hide. Anyhow, them's a little more time goes by and there's this kind of clattering noise. I'm there thinking, gotta get this shot this time, and so I grab one real quick from the shadows there. Could we see this photograph? Aww, do I have to? Here. Oh, Mr. Redcoat guy. That's the person in the red raincoat, the one who attacked Kay. So Kay's raincoated assailant also attacked the victim here in the storeroom, then proceeded up to the roof where they assaulted Kay. The person has blood on his hands too, his or her. There's only one person in this picture. Where's the victim? Weird, huh? I wondered the same thing. I had 2 people, but there was only one in the shot I got. I didn't see nobody else in the room neither. But there's the killer, all right. Leastways, I'm pretty sure it is. So are we saying the victim disappeared? How did you know it was the killer just by looking? Because they're literally red-handed with blood. How else would they get there, huh? And the auction just carried on after that? Sure did. They just went right on along like nothing had happened. Rich folks is crazier than a box of frogs. I'll never understand how they think. Funny, I find journalists a struggle to understand as well. Oh dear, guys. Very oh dear is what I have to say right now. Alright, let's save real quick. Whew! And it's time, maybe for some logic again. Auction entry and disappearing victim. Yay! If the storeroom was the actual scene of the crime, then you'd expect the body to have been up here at some point as well. Huh? Well, yeah. But think back to what Miss Hart told us about how the customers left the auction. Do you remember? Of course! They came up from downstairs, back through the storeroom and... Oh! Exactly. The killer would have had to hide the body in order to avoid its discovery. The question is, where did they hide it? The box, maybe? Emma, if you would mind putting your skills to work for me now. I'd love to. You just say what you need and I'll get right on it. Very well. Then I'd like you to check for blood residue. A luminal test, in other words. Sure thing. Prepare to witness the power of science. Never seen somebody's eyes actually sparkle with anticipation before. Alright, how about we test the ladder over there first? Based on Miss Hart's picture, I'd say the person in the red raincoat was about to climb it and make their escape, which means there is a high chance of a positive result. Test an area, just press A. That'll spray a little luminol on it. and if it happens to land on some blood, you'll see it react like this. Ugh, it still feels super raw to see it just appear like that. Anyway, that's a positive, but it's still faint. Spraying it a couple more times should be enough to really make it stand out. Yeah, that brought it out nicely, and made it feel that much more real. Anyhow, I think you've got the gist of how to look for blood traces now, right? I'm sure there's still some more to be found. Why don't you give it a try? Aha! Ha 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 ha! And that's how it's done. Take a good look around and see if you can find some other places to test with the luminol. Alright. Want to test it there? Yes, I do. It's a negative. Oh man. What about on the here? Nope. Nope. What about the box? Ah, here we go. I knew it! Mr. Edgeworth, blood! But how could it have gotten there? Maybe somebody put something with blood on it in here? In there? Oh dear. There's still places we haven't tested yet. Let's see what else we can find. How about the statue? Nope. That statue's been through enough, guys. What about here in the elevator? Aha! On the suitcase. Nope. On the this. You've got a positive. There's blood here. But how come? Probably because this is where the murder was actually committed, I'd say. Oh, looks like some of it's dripped through to the floor below, too. I think that's all the blood there is to be found. Alright, and that concludes this phase of our investigation. Wait, there's more? What else? I've examined everything already. What are we doing here? Unless there's more logic to do now. Ah, hidden body. Closed box blood. Blood in the closed box can only mean one thing. That this is where the body was hidden. I'm certain of it. I wonder who won the box in the auction. I haven't the foggiest. Still, it's a very helpful discovery. Now you just hold your horses there. There's no way the body could have been in there. What do you mean? I took a look at that there box when I first got in here. Looked to be just about the perfect size for a little hide-and-go seek if the need arose. And maybe it would have been if I could have opened it. But it was wrapped in chains and locked up tight. And I ain't no escapologist. The murder happened just a little after I scoped it out, so can't nobody have put no body in there. Wrapped in chains and locked up tight, you say? That's odd, because it doesn't look to be wrapped in chains any longer. Huh? Well, slap my head and call me silly. Could have sworn it was, though. I think we've examined all we can now. Great, then to see what's waiting down below. Shaking a leg already, are we, Miles? Okie dokie. Hey, Keymeister. Yes, Mr. Fender? We're about ready to move out, so I want you to stick with me, okay? Can have you getting lost. Of course, I'll be sure to stay close. When did those two start getting along so well? Yay! And we're all in the elevator. Ah, it leads right here. Whoa, Mr. Edgeworth. Huh. This room. This is the auction room? No, this is the committee chamber. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Way to drop right into my lap, K. Faraday. You've got a real guts, I'll give you that. Arrest her, men. Arrest her right now. Wait, but she's... As for the rest of the riffraff, throw them out into the streets where they belong. Uh-oh. Take pictures, Lotta. Take pictures of them. You can't do this. This is going way overboard. Yeah, what she said. Miles, this isn't looking good, I gotta say. See how the blinding light of justice shines on me. Yeah! Yowie! What did I do? You'll have to forgive me. I meant to hit a certain cowardly ex-prosecutor. You weren't aiming for him, you were aiming straight for me. Something keeps getting in my way. Something... Yeah! Right there. Franziska. So, what are you doing here, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor? I still believe Kay to be innocent, and we're supposed to care what you believe. You no longer have the right to an opinion. I am Franziska von Karma, and I have no intention of stopping here for or now. But you chose to stop by giving up your badge, and so our game has already come to an end. My badge was an obstacle to proceed along the road I've chosen. I haven't stopped, I've simply cleared the way ahead. And now I'm free to follow that road all the way to the truth. Don't you think for a second that my conviction has changed. I'm every bit as dedicated as I ever was. You seem to think you know what lies at the end of this road of the truth. In that case, I demand that you show me. I'll explain my current theory first, and if your road fails to lead anywhere, my whip will happily guide it. And here we go. The victim used her keycard and entered this chamber with her killer. She was then stabbed with a candelabrum by the culprit, and subsequently died as a result. We know the identity of the murderer thanks to the letters she exchanged with the victim, and we know the location of the murder is here in the committee's trial chamber. The blood on the floor of this room proves my theory. Game, set, and match, Miles Edgeworth. QED. What does QED mean? Franziska to the rescue. Kind of to the rescue and kind of not to the rescue at the same time. But yeah, mostly to the rescue. She seems pretty confident, huh? She doesn't lack the courage of her convictions, that's for certain. And I gotta say, I can dig that vibe. I could even give her a no hard feel. Pathetic. Well, Miss Miles Edgeworth, do you think you can bring my case crashing down around my ears? If you really have found the road to the truth, perhaps you'd be so kind as to point me toward it. I'll be very happy to. Settle in, Franziska. I'm about to pave the road with incontrivable evidence. Hey, there you are, Captain Chips. Haven't seen you in chat all day yet. The victim used her keycard and entered this chamber with her killer. Hold it! Captain Chips, you missed a lot of things in this case. Holy crap, you missed a lot of things. As well as the return of 2 more familiar peoples. Are you sure the data from the security system is accurate? That data is just like me, perfect in every way. There's no room for doubt on either front. Well, your theory is far from perfect. Suppose not I'm not going to change your mind on this so easily, am I? Correct. As I said, the victim entered the room with her killer. She was then stabbed with the candelabrum by the culprit and subsequently died as a result. Hold it! And the stab wounds she sustained are a perfect match with the candelabrum in question. 3 wounds, inflicted with bimetal spikes of some kind in 3 places simultaneously. Even you have to agree that there aren't many objects that could do that. Furthermore, Grandma Hertz confirmed the murder weapon in her report. Then, there's absolutely no doubt in your mind that it was the candelabrum? None whatsoever, and as for the culprit, you know the identity of the murderer thanks to the letters she exchanged with the victim. Hey, Captain Chips, if people were selling evidence here for monies, would they be in trouble? Just curious. Give me a second. Okay. Hold it! Have you managed to prove conclusively that the letter found on the victim was sent to Kay? I wasn't aware that there was any doubt on that front. Are you suggesting it was a forgery? Well, if there was any doubt, there isn't any longer. Document analysis turned up nothing. Nothing to scan to suggest the involvement of anyone other than the sender and the recipient of any forgery. Dear God, yes, they'd be in trouble. That is hells of corruption. Well, little fun fact, Captain Chips. Right above this room is a place where evidence is being sold. And this room here is also an auction room. So, yeah. Might be related to Franziska's case, then? I think so. I think you are right. Are you saying that they found Kay's prints? No, only the victims. Well then, how can you say for sure that Kay did the deed? Haven't you been listening? Document analysis found nothing to suggest that the letter was a forgery. Face it, the letter was sent by Kay Faraday, a fact that's more than adequately proves the identity of the murderer. And we know the location of the murderer is here in the committee's trial chamber. You can prove that the murder happened here in the committee chamber, I suppose. Avon Karma is perfect in every way. Or did you forget that when you handed in your badge? The blood on the floor of this room proves my theory. Game, set, and match. Miles Edgeworth, QED. Quad erat demonstratum, as has been demonstrated. That's so confusing. Has the blood been analyzed to see who it belongs to? It has, and unsurprisingly, it was confirmed to be of the victim. And has it occurred to you that where it was found may not be where the murder in fact took place? How quickly you forget, Miles Edgeworth. Evidence is everything in the courtroom. So please present your proof that the murder could occurred elsewhere. Or kindly stand down. Proof that the murder occurred elsewhere, huh? This is in a courtroom, but that doesn't mean I can't give her the evidence she so clearly desires. She makes a pretty watertight argument, huh? There's the first person, Captain Chips. The first familiar person. Lawyers love using seemingly random Latin phrases. I guess so. Perhaps, but she doesn't know what we know. You're right. We've got a certain scientific discovery up our sleeves, and that discovery will show her the road I've found to the truth. Yep, Emma's one of them, and a certain someone else is another one. The elevator blood.
Objection!
Good. Good. If I remember correctly, the blood discovered in this room was located at the foot of the Goddess of Justice statue. Murder under the gaze of the divine, a brazen act even for a cold-blooded killer. Except that may not be true at all. Take a look at this if you would. It's a bloodstain we discovered in the storeroom directly above the committee chamber. As you can see, the blood we found looks to have dripped through to the room below, and the elevator it dripped down from descends directly to the foot of the statue. Ah, you notice, then you will agree that the murder cannot have, in fact, have happened in this room. I put it to you that the victim was killed in the room above, and only afterward was she moved down here. The Goddess of Justice did not witness a murder. She witnessed a killer trying to cover their tracks. Why is she smiling? Sorry, I was just thinking back to a very similar situation. Well done, Miles Edgeworth. You've proven yourself to be even more foolish than I thought. Mr. Edgeworth is anything but a fool, sir, and you know it. Youch! Have you forgotten the picture you just showed me, or are you really that air-headed? Even a cursory glance shows that there was far more blood here in the committee chamber than upstairs. Ouch, whipped and ignored again. Wish I could get some love too! You're trying to tell me that all of the blood dripped down from above, Miles Edgeworth? If it had, your storeroom stain would need to be 10 times as big. I say the murder happened down here. There's no way it could have happened anywhere else. As insightful as ever, Franziska, but you've played right into my hands. How so? You are correct. There are far less blood upstairs than one would expect. The question is, why? A trifling detail in the face of my previous explanation. Alas, your explanation doesn't account for why there was blood in the storeroom in the first place. Surely you don't think some spatter manage to shoot itself all the way up there, do you? Well, like some crazy fountain of blood? No way! No way indeed, it's completely impossible. So how about this? What if this explains the difference in the amount of blood observed? I have a feeling there'll be a thing. So, yeah. There was far more blood in the committee chamber than in the storeroom above because... the victim was stabbed here, weapon was removed here, stabbed upstairs. Maybe this one? The victim died of 3 stab wounds, wounds that would have bled profusely. Exactly, as proven by the amount of blood we found on the floor of this room. But that doesn't make sense. Not if she was stabbed in the storeroom. You said there wasn't much blood up there already. Eek! Silence, you half-baked harebrained rookie. Hey, harebrained is a little... Ah! A stab wound bleeds heaviest on one particular point in time. Oh, I know. When the weapon is removed, right? Precisely. I believe the body was brought down to the committee chamber with the candelabrum still in its chest. And then when it was finally removed, it created the difference in the amount of blood we see between the 2 locations. But why? What was the killer trying to do? I imagine they were trying to give the impression that the murder happened down here. As we know, Miss Ringer's keycard was used late last night. Judging by the time listed in the record, I hazard a guess that it was used by the killer when they entered the room to create their elaborate setup. I think that Franziska's favorite form of expressing displeasure is hitting people. Yes, definitely is. Hehe. But why would they have needed to do all of this in the first place? Perhaps because the person with the face to hide would fear the storeroom being found in the investigation. If they were involved with the underground auction, they couldn't afford to have their dirty secret exposed. Underground auction? You should take a look at the storeroom for yourself. The items up there tell quite a story. One that should more than explain what was going on here last night. It's almost endearing, Miles Edgeworth. How desperately you want to protect your friend. There's something just beneath the surface in this case. Something bigger than all of us. And Kay's only crime was to have the bad fortune to fall right into the middle of it. That's quite the hyperbolic claim, Miss Miles Edgeworth. Hyperbolic? Me? Surely you're the one making a mountain out of my perfectly reasonable molehill. You're working with Interpol on international cases, so why are you investigating a domestic murder? I'll tell you why. Because this case has something to do with the smuggling ring you've been chasing. You followed the trail of items being smuggled by the ring and wound up here. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that the something I sense isn't related to any of this. I'm really very happy to learn that you giving up your badge didn't completely relieve you of your senses. Scruffy here told me about the circumstances that led up to that, by the way. Sorry, sir. I just thought it might help, you know. You did the right thing, detective. So am I right, Franziska? Is this incident part of the broader case you're working? Was the underground auction already on Interpol's radar? Wouldn't you like to know? But you don't need to, and so you won't. And you knew, didn't you, that the auction was being held here in this chamber? Hey, y'all mind if I butt in for a sec? Your victim over there, the lady in the white? You! Hey, let a gal finish, will you? You know good button pain in the you-know-what? Youch! Well, this leopard sure ain't changed her spots. Yep, it's her again, Captain Chips. She's back. Your testimony is not required, and neither is your presence. What do you mean? I'm a journalist. You can't... Ow! You're a liar is what you are. You lied under oath that one time. Seems like Miss Von Karma's none too fond of Miss Hart, huh? I don't think she's her biggest fan, no. What's she called? Ringer, right? Well, she wasn't a member... She was a member of this here committee? Well, she's dressed exactly like the ringleader of that there secret auction. Ah! Stop it! Stop whipping me, dang it! What is the meaning of this interruption? Miles Edgeworth, explain. Miss Hart here helped us out by describing how the auctioneer was dressed. And it seems they were wearing the exact same outfit as the victim, Miss Rosie Ringer. Rosie Ringer? 'Cause she's the ringleader? But that would mean that the victim was also the ringleader. Now, how about we just calm down, sir? It seems I have some new information to consider. It's true that I came here to investigate the underground auction and to arrest its head of operations, the auctioneer. But if Miss Hart is to be believed, the ringleader is dead. I guess that means your journey here today was wasted. I suppose it does. Nonetheless, I, Franziska von Karma, refuse to leave empty-handed. Time for a rematch, Miles Edgeworth. Fine by me, but you may find that your whip will go surely underused this round. Fine, I accept your little explanation. That would make the storeroom the actual scene of the crime, yes? In which case, the murderer is someone connected to the auction, and if the photographer is to be believed, the victim was the auctioneer, and the culprit was then an attendee. The killer lay in wait for the victim in the storeroom where the exchange of illicit goods was to take place. Then they stabbed the victim in the chest with a piece of merchandise, the candelabrum. There, does that about sum it up? Because I won't be accepting rebuttals. I'm afraid you might have to. There is a serious hole in your testimony. There is? I didn't spot any. Good thing you're the one in charge here, Mr. Edgeworth. All right then, time to fight back. You have to win this for us. And I will. Time to take Franziska's testimony to task. I'm gonna get a drink real quick. By the way, Captain Chips, I learned something very, very scary today. Something very, very, very scary. The Splatfests. The Splatfests. They're not over. There's more. This time the question is, what would you be in a fantasy world? A wizard, a knight, or a ninja? Yep. How's that for some scary news? The pain is not over yet. Anyway, fine. I accept your little explanation. That would make the storeroom the actual scene of the crime, yes? You would be a wizard? Considering what I'm playing now and what I will be playing soon, I think I might choose wizard too, to be honest. Wizard or witch. Captain Chips, have you ever heard of Little Witch No Better, by any chance?
Hold it!
You conceded that point rather easily. I can't be helped but be suspicious. I'm not in the habit of denying facts that are readily supported by the evidence. Nope. You should check it out as soon as you can. It's a very interesting genre of game that you never would expect me to play. That's all there is to it. You were there able to show that the murder actually took place in the storeroom. In which case the murderer is someone connected to the auction.
Hold it!
Excuse me. How exactly did you come to that conclusion? Members of the big building staff were questioned extensively, but none mentioned a secret storeroom. Is it a shoot? Nope. It's kind of a shoot. It combines a shoot with something else that I would not play. Only a handful of people. And of course, that storeroom was where the items that were to be sold in the auction were being kept. Very good. We'd suggest a link between knowledge of the storeroom and involvement in the auction. No clue then? I'll give you a clue. You kidnapped me once and we played a certain game of this genre at your house. As if the photographer to be believed, the victim was the auctioneer and the culprit was an attendee.
Hold it!
So you believe that the victim and the ringleader were one and the same? Souls? Yep. That's right. I learned that after I started streaming it though. I do, and the murderer was... Why are you asking her this? You just said the exact same thing yourself, dummy. So I did. But I was merely confirming Franziska's reasoning in order to... Oh, don't give me that horse feed. You get caught saying something stupid, you gotta give a little laugh and move on with your day. The murderer was one of the auction attendees. What? You don't got no notes for our friend here about a little performance of his? Of course, assuming that our friend, the photographer's word, can be trusted. Can't quite tell if they love or hate one another. How's it, Souls? Very tough. There's items that you need to use to heal yourself. Just look at the game. I can't explain things. I don't know how to explain things well. The killer lay in wait for the victim in the storeroom where the exchange of illicit goods was to take place.
Hold it!
How exactly did they manage that, I ask? May I ask? This heart was in the storeroom too, remember?
Objection!
Yes, hiding someplace. And if you've seen the storeroom yourself, you'll know that there are plenty of other places to hide too. So you're saying the killer was hiding out of sight while they awaited the victim's arrival. I believe we can reasonably assume that the murder took place after the auction had concluded. After all, the victim was the auctioneer herself. She would. Difficulty and healing potion does not a soul-like make. Again, I can't explain well. I am very bad at explaining things. Look it up yourself. Look it up at the fact that everyone calls it a cute souls-like. She thinks it happened afterward? Would you mind adding that statement to your testimony, Franziska? I believe we can reasonably assume that the murder took place after the auction had concluded. Maybe Lada's testimony? Happened during.
Objection!
It seems you're one step behind yet again, Franziska. How so? The auctioneer was not, in fact, the victim, and I can prove it. This is the statement Miss Hart gave us. Well, if she made it, it's not worth the air she used to say it. I done told you, I'm a journalist, Dig Nabbit. My word is, youch! Did I ask you to open your mouth? Double youch.
Objection!
Calm down and listen for a second, Franziska. Miss Hart witnessed at least some of the events surrounding the murder, and she confirmed that the auction continued even after the murder had occurred. You bet it did. Went right on like nothing had happened at all. How would that even have been possible without an auctioneer, It wouldn't. So you see, the victim couldn't have been the auctioneer. She was one of the attendees. No! As I've been saying since the start, there's no way Kay can be the murderer, because she had been pushed down the hatch by her assailant and knocked unconscious by that time. So then, who was the victim, really? Right, well, if the auction carried on after the murder, the victim must not have been the auctioneer, but an attendee. That's enough. I know the sound all too well. What? Who? Oh dear. Order in the courtroom. All rise for the chairman. 009. Oh, there's no need for all that pomp and circumstance, Verity. Please, everyone, feel free to call me Celsius. Yes, that'll do nicely. All right, Celsius, what are you doing here? Oh, I just stopped by to see how my boneheaded boy was getting along. They say there are all sorts of families, but I'm not sure these two are what they meant. I thought I might need to light a fire under this investigation, but it seems not. The suspect everyone searched high and low for is right back here where we started. For how dainty Lada claims to be, she sure can take a lot of hits. I know, right? She's tough. Everyone has to be when it comes to that whip, though. Hoping it was Apollo. Sorry. No Apollo yet. No attorneys for him. Men, detain the suspect immediately. Wait, Miss Faraday is innocent. Shut your meddling mouth. You're becoming something of a problem, Miles, my boy. I thought I told you. The committee wants this matter cleared up as soon as possible. It's a matter of trust. We can't have our organization be seen to drag its feet. It's bad for us, and it's bad for me too, personally. Sorry, it must be my age. Sob! Our unlawful investigation ends here, and it will not be permitted to resume. In case you have forgotten, you are no longer a prosecutor. You have no authority here. And what's more, there is the matter of you aiding and abetting a suspect. She's right, of course, and as always, you really are a godsend, Verity. Everything I do knowingly. If you wish to prosecute me for it, be my guest. But know this. We have uncovered a new suspect. This person here. Miss Faraday was attacked by this You can stop right there, Mr. Edgeworth. The raincoat in your picture was discovered nearby a short while ago. The victim's blood was found on the hood, along with some cherry blossom petals. Cherry blossom petals? Like the ones on the roof? Yes, they were stuck by the edges of the bloodstains, probably due to the blood being fresh at the time. The results came back already, my boy, so there's no mistaking it. The person in your picture is the victim, Miss Rosie Ringer. What? Crap. It's bad to drag your feet, but not bad to arrest an innocent person? Yep. It's not bad to arrest someone innocent at all. Haha. Yeah, it kind of is. No, this completely undermines our entire case. All our assumptions were based on the person in the red raincoat being the killer. But if they were the victim instead, then Kay remains at the top of the suspect list. Miss Faraday, you testified to having encountered a person in a red raincoat up on the roof, correct? Yes, I did. We now know that the person was the murder victim, and you are the only person we know of who came into contact with her. Since one of you wound up dead, I think we all know how that encounter went. No, Kay was attacked by that person. She is the victim here, not the aggressor. As far as I recall, we have yet to see any evidence that proves she was attacked, as you claim. And even if such proof existed, Miss Ringer could simply have been acting in self-defense. But you can't just jump to conclusions like that. Kay is an innocent. But I'm not. Kay? I'm not innocent. I don't want to believe it, but I remembered something. Hearing about the raincoat brought it back. Your cat says meow. Hey, Stars' cat. How you doing? Hope you're doing meow very good. It's just a flash, but I remember what I saw now, right when it happened. The murderer, it was me. I remember looking down and the person in the red raincoat was on the ground. It was me, Mr. Edgeworth. It was me all along. She's doing perfect. Aw, that's good. Good old kitty cat. I'm the murderer. I'm the murderer. No, you're not. You can't be. Then what am I? What do I have? Why do I have a memory like that? What am I? Who am I? They were on the floor in front of me. There was a pool of blood. Why was I just standing there? Why didn't I do something? I know why. It's because I was the killer. This court recognizes the legitimacy of the accused's memories. What? But you said you didn't believe her like 5 minutes ago. I commend you on your bravery, Miss Faraday. It will not go unrewarded. Praise be to the goddess of justice for her many blessings. As an official representative of Interpol, I hereby request that the suspect be overruled. We don't have time for this. We must arrest Kay Faraday this instant. How dare you take that tone with me? This is a gross overreach of authority. I demand that you give us more time to investigate. You say my investigation is unlawful? What could be more unlawful than this? Unfortunately, you no longer speak for the law. Indeed you don't, but I do. And while I can't help but be moved by your dedication to your friend, I have to agree with Verity. Speaking of the law, it seems there's one other we must arrest. Ah, yes, I almost forgot. Miles. What are you talking about? Mr. Edgeworth was just doing his job. He didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't doing squat. By which I mean to say, unfortunately, Miles is no longer serving in any kind of official capacity. You went too far this time, Mr. Edgeworth. You conducted an unlawful investigation. Worse, you aided and abetted the flight of a suspect. You are no longer even an ex-prosecutor. You are a criminal. Nothing more. No. Oh, that reminds me. There was supposed to be a hearing today, wasn't there? Concerning your conduct. I'll make sure it's officially rescheduled for tomorrow. although I fear I already know the outcome. Look at this as an opportunity to reflect on your actions, Miles. A chance to really think long and hard. So Kay isn't in her right mind? Yeah, exactly. These two are suspicious, guys. The dude especially is suspicious. This court is adjourned. Remember when I asked before what level of corrupt these guys are? What level of corrupt are they now? Oh my gosh. We're in prison, Vegeta. Never thought I'd spend another night in here again, and they stripped me of all the evidence we'd so painstakingly gathered. I got the Yatagarasu pin. And all the profiles. He has water in his goggles. There's something wrong with him. Oh yeah, I'd say there is. 9 out of 10, they've gone up a level. Yep. Remember the 4th age, the whole Dark Age of the Law thing? This would be a not insignificant part of why. Oh yeah, for sure. The prosecutors on this side and what Gavin did on the attorney's side. This might have been the start right here. Even if they did let me keep Kei's Yatagarasu pin, I can't help but worry about her. They'd better be treating her well. The murderer, it was me. I remember looking down and the person in the red raincoat was on the ground. It was me, Mr. Edgeworth. It was me all along. I'm the murderer. I'm the murderer. Come on, let's go. You've got a visitor. A visitor? Who? Someone by the name of Dick Gumshoe wants me to send him away? No, though I'm not sure what to even say to him. We're to be on this side of the glass. Wait there. You're leaving me unsupervised. Forgive the intrusion. You're not Dick Gumshoe. Judge Cavell. Please, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a seat. What are you doing here? I was told it was Detective Gumshoe. I imagine you wouldn't come if you knew it was me. What could she possibly want from me now? Suppose I'd better find out. What are you planning? You may not be aware of this, but you are only permitted to meet with specially approved visitors. So I'm to be treated like a dangerous criminal, am I? I suppose my reputation is rather plummeted. It has indeed, for you, of course, and your friends. That attorney and the other girl was raising quite the fuss earlier. Fender and Emma. I saw them launch some extremely heated words at one of the guards. No, you didn't. You may thank the goddess in that regard, for even she is too busy to deal with each and every infraction. They will not be punished for their bad behavior. Did you come here just to chit-chat with me? You must have a lot of time on your hands. Oh, speaking of which, Miss Von Karma is continuing the investigation where you left off. Edgy's going to die. Yep, this is the end for Edgeworth. He done. I just thought you would like to know. I figured you would be worried about how they were all along, all doing. Hate to admit it, but she read me like a book. Your motive. Let's cut to the chase, Your Honor. Why are you really here? I'm here simply to talk, nothing more. There is something I wish to know about you. Me? Yes, who else? Objectively speaking, you are highly intelligent and quick-witted, and a born prosecutor at that. Please, Judge Cavell, your sarcastic praise is but salt on my wounds. But I sincerely mean every word, Mr. Edgeworth, and it is why I fail to understand you. Take this latest case, for example. You were up against the very committee itself. You had no hope of succeeding. Even a child could have seen that, and yet... Heh. I don't imagine the old me would have ever been so reckless. The old me had power, and because of that, I thought that justice was always on my side. Just as you and that committee believe now. But a certain person changed my mind. He made me reckon with my selfish and skewed sense of justice. And once the scales had fallen from my eyes, I began to look at people differently. I saw that I was only able to be as an effective prosecutor thanks to the efforts of those around me. Detective Gumshoe, the many investigative officers of the force, and even Kay. It changed me. The degree to which it changed me still surprises me to this day. I see. Thank you. I feel that perhaps I understand you a little better now. You understand me? I highly doubt it. Someone who is so focused on forcing their idea of justice onto others can't possibly see what I see. Is that so? Is that what you truly believe? I will say one more thing. This has been a very interesting conversation, that is all. Before I go, there is one remaining matter. I was asked to inform you that the date of your hearing has been confirmed. It will be held today in the trial chamber. The committee sends its warmest regards. If that was all you had to tell me, you could have just sent a message and entrust the goddess's words to another. That wouldn't do now, would it? Until then, Mr. Edgeworth, I'll see you again very shortly. What a mess. Well, back to prison I go. Oh, okay. I can walk around a bit. Let me out! There's a poster in the corridor outside. We regret to announce that due to the warden's arrest, the Die of Destiny game will be discontinued. Inmates will no longer need to roll a die every morning to determine their meals for the day. We wholeheartedly apologize to those who are looking forward to their daily casting of the die. Anyone really need an apology for the cessation of such a ridiculous idea in the first place? I've barely spent any time in here, and already I can feel my personal appearance slipping. I may have given up my badge, but I mustn't give up on myself. My collar is slightly creased. There, a tidy outside begets a tidy inside, which is why it's more important now than ever to take care of myself. There's a menu here on the table. Seems that detainees are able to pay to have their meals brought to their cells. What looks good? Spaghetti and mac and cheese lunch. Add linguine for only $1. Basmati and brown rice special for limited time only. Add regular white rice at no extra cost. It's probably for the best that I'm not very hungry. Sheesh. Where's Apollo when you need him? I don't know. He's busy, being a kid at this point, I think. I'm pretty sure he's like kid or at least teenager age at this point. A very basic bed. I can't say it was very comfortable to sleep on, however. I imagine Detective Gumshoe would sleep soundly on it, nevertheless, without snoring all the while. Suppose we'll probably never get to work together again, but I don't have any regrets about the bed I've made. I will follow my own path to the end. Do I have another visitor? Kay. Oh no. That's a lot of carbs. Oh yeah, that does not sound good. Oh, thank goodness you seem alright. That's a load off my mind. Such a heartwarming scene. It's enough to sniffle, make a grown man cry. But you're still not your usual cheery. You have to stay positive, Kay. You didn't do anything wrong. In fact, I guarantee you didn't. No, you have to let it go. I'm the murderer. I know that now. But you're not. You can't be. Why don't you have any faith in yourself? How can I, Mr. Edgeworth, when there is no me left to believe in? None at all? I don't think that's true. Before you lost your memory, we spent quite a bit of time together, and I dare say you left quite the impression on me. So you see, there's still plenty of you left. That's why I believe so much in your innocence, and why you should believe in yourself too. Thank you. But I can't. It would just cause more pain for the both of us. Please, you have to forget her. Forget that, Kay. She's gone. Kay, no. You remind me of my younger self, you know. So noble, so bold. This is the justice you and the committee stand for? Justice? I suppose you could call it that. What is he up to? Why is he going to such lengths to control everything? I can't shake the feeling that something is very wrong here. Is there some hidden agenda at play? I'll flip and say, there's no time to second-guess myself. If I'm going to find out what it is, it's now or never. Well then, my boy, suppose I should be... Wait. Oh, here we go. Why is the chairman so intent on seeing Kay charged with this murder? It doesn't make any sense. There must be some rhyme or reason to this madness. Oh boy. Come now, Miles. I'm a busy, important man. I can't be wasting my precious time talking to you. The only way out of the current predicament is through Chairman Winner. There's so much to ask in so little time. Let's start by trying to figure out why he rushed to have Kay arrested so quickly. Can't just let him, let this happen. I'm getting answers if it's the last thing I do. Mind chest, commence! This is the second, mind chest I had to do this stream. Sheesh. Why were you so keen to push through Kay's arrest? I've yet to hear a satisfactory explanation. An explanation? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Don't give me that. You know exactly what I mean. Tut-tut. I advise you to moderate your tone, dear boy. Did I remind you of your position? At this rate, it will be the last thing Edgy does. Chess mine. Chess mine? I gotcha. And suppose we did let your friend go free. What then? What do you mean, what then? Think how that would look, my boy. And what and who would have to take the blame? Me, that's who. He's saying it like that's a bad thing. I've got you now. You're backed into a corner and you don't even know it. Nope. Not sure what his shtick is. If anyone in chat would know, knows. If you see a thing or a thing, let me know. Buy time again, maybe. You're right to keep your mouth shut. That way you won't say anything foolish. Sorry, but I can't stay silent forever. Now while Kay's innocence is still in doubt. Ah, you're breaking my heart. Sob! Just look at this flood of tears. Spilling out. But please, just leave it alone, will you? Things were coming along nicely until you interfered. Lurk. Hey, Mafia! Happy lurkin'. Good to see you for a wee little bit. Coming along nicely. That's a pretty strange way of putting it. It's almost as if you wanted Kay's arrest to happen. It certainly doesn't sound like the statement of an impartial representative of the law. You think so? Well, that wasn't my intention. Has it occurred to you that you might be just overthinking things a little? Chairman Winner certainly knows how to dodge a question, but it doesn't change the fact that serious doubts remain concerning Kay's arrest. Next, we'll need to press him on whether he really believes the investigation was sufficient. We can't allow any of this statement to go, unexamined. No matter how trivial they may seem, one of them may just give us the breakthrough we need. Bah. How much time was spent on your investigation altogether? Well now, let's see. You know what? I'm not sure I can remember. And I'm sure you can. You won't bluster your way out of this one. It's not a bluster, my boy. I honestly don't recall. It's a problem when you get to my age, you see. Why, I even forget my own son's name sometimes. Never mind your fool of a son. Answer me. How long did you spend on the investigation? Sniffle. You're right, of course. The boy's a fool. Never meant for him to grow up like that, but... Oh, woe is me. Sniffle. It's only too heavy to derail the conversation, no matter where I take it. I have to force him to take this seriously. I'll try another tech for now. You can hardly say your investigation was sufficient, and you're the one who called all the shots, weren't you? Including the decision to have Kay arrested? Oh ho ho, I'm afraid I'm nowhere near as influential as you think, dear boy. You're the chairman of the committee. It doesn't get much more influential than that. Not that I care about such things. You wound me. It's enough to drive an old man to tears. You'll have to forgive me. I'm not the deferential type. Well, if you're going to insist on being so blunt... Then I'm afraid you won't be seeing your prosecutor's badge anytime soon. Again anytime soon. Sniffle? Let's try Bide. Nothing more to say? Wonderful, then I'll be on my way. Arg, it seems the silent treatment won't work at this every time. You fail. Fail, fail, fail. You fail. I don't need my badge anyway. Let me make something clear to you once and for all. This badge isn't the be-all end-all for me. Far from it. I'm not concerned with my titles or roles. Even you must understand that much. So young, so very young. A word of advice, Miles, from somebody who's been around the block. You're hopelessly naive, my boy. Idiotically so. Well, that certainly got under his skin. Might be less guarded in his answers while he's in this state. How's my chance? My, you really don't give up, do you? But even my patience has its limits, you know. What a coincidence. So does mine. Hey, Blue Thunder! The badge ship is sailed at that point? Probably. Poor badge. How you doing though, Blue Thunder? It's good to see ya. I forgot to tell you, by the way, Blue Thunder, I finished Rings of Power with my mom. What did you think of it? Now answer with the question, did you believe that your investigation was sufficient or not? Ah, the young these days are wont to be reckless. Makes me want to pull you and put you in your place. You're going to regret that, my boy. By time. Well, maybe you do know your place after all. What's the matter? Scared? Oh ho ho! Hardly. I was just thinking about how best to proceed. Getting answers from the elderly requires sensitivity. They can be quite emotional after all. You have no common sense whatsoever, do you? You understand? Your fate rests in my hands. You're okay. Glad that you're doing good. You like the show? Yeah, it was quite fun. It was pretty good. Bah? I've got you now. Nope. Nope. Wrong. Wrong! Wrong! Let's say you do manage to get some answers for me. There's nothing you can do with them, so why not give it up, dear boy? No. And why not? It's simple, because I'm not about to let the truth escape me. Interesting. I think I'm beginning to see what makes you tick. Can't wait to see Season 3. Oh, I hope it's a good one. We'll see, huh? But what you're doing is pointless. Tragically, sniffle, and miserably pointless. But please, just give up, Sob. She's guilty. The decision has been made. Save the game. Once again, your choice of words intrigues me. It's almost as if Kay's guilt has already been determined from before her arrest. What are you trying to imply? I'm implying that things haven't gone as they normally should. In fact, everything has proceeded as if Kay's arrest was the end goal, right from the very start. Watching Sword Art Online, ooh, nice. I want to get that series, but I can't find it online anywhere. All the versions I do see are extremely expensive, which is very annoying. Well, Chairman Winner, was it? That's certainly an intriguing theory. But it's also a complete work of fiction, and I'm afraid I don't have time for such flights of fancy. I think it's time we brought this shabby little farce to an end, don't you? No, he's trying to make us escape. Must confirm the legality of Kay's arrest before he slips away. It's faint, but the truth is finally beginning to emerge, and I'm not about to let this opportunity pass me by. How's the game? Pretty intense today. I feel like we're gonna learn something big. Very omega big. Wait, we're not done yet. I'm tired of all this talking, so make it brief, will you? Whoops. Forgot to save there. Who gave you the order? Who gave the order? Who's decided that Kay should be arrested? You know, I can't seem to remember. Don't ever get old, Miles, my boy. It wreaks havoc on the memory. I have a clue as to how to proceed with this line of questioning. Better try another tack for now. Kay is innocent. No, my boy. That's just clumsy. Anyone can blurt out a baseless assertion like that. Even a disgraced superstar prosecutor. Yeah. Okay. It's no good. I don't have enough information to take this any further just yet. But my chance will come. I'll have to be ready when it does. Okay, game. What you doing? It's like a really annoying boss battle, kind of. Wish I knew what made him like the right things to ask him and the wrong things. I wish I knew. What grounds? Based on everything I've heard from you so far, it's clear that Kay's arrest is entirely unfounded. Yes, I think we're all familiar with this particular refrain of yours by now. I'm afraid it doesn't matter either way. You don't have what it takes to secure her release anyhow. How dare you take this so lightly as a man of the law? My, aren't you a rude little boy? But my fuse is only so long. Maybe wait. Honestly speaking, I don't have the time to waste on every last question you can dream up. I have a certain responsibility to attend to, you know. I really am quite the busy man. Or are you just pretending to be busy, But that's... Sniffle, an awful thing to say to a fragile old man. I work harder than I should at my age. I ask you, my boy, Sub, what could I even hope to accomplish by putting up such a pretense? Obviously don't want to talk about the case anymore. That's why you're so keen to get out of this conversation, isn't it? He could just leave, by the way. It's just so tragic, it really is, Sub, that you would suspect me of such things. It's not a suspicion, it is a certainty. There were no clear grounds on which to base Kay's arrest for a start. Now, my boy, let's not get carried away. There was plenty of evidence to support our case. The mask, the letter, the corsage, they were all in her possession. And of course, her confession. More than enough to prove her guilt, I'd say. But those are... What's the matter? Struggling to come up with a way to explain everything away. Whoops. Save again. Perfect. I've got you now. You're backed into a corner and you don't even know it. No, he's not backed into a corner, actually. This is a long one, guys. This is a long one. This is one of those long ones. But yeah, this is all just random. I've got you now. You're backed into a corner and you don't even know it. JK, no you're not. True, Edgy's trapped, but there's nothing stopping that guy. Edgy's gonna keep on going. And I gotta beat this game, or otherwise I'm not the champion of the whatever. Well, there we have it. Your silence speaks volumes. It's true I can't counter your argument right now, but you did let something valuable slip. A suspiciously detailed knowledge of the evidence against Kay. You rattled it off that list like you knew it inside out. I think that might prove to be a valuable clue. Alright. I think it's, you know what? No. I'm gonna save. Gonna save again. Just in case. Who gave the order? Who decided that Kay should be arrested? You know, I can't seem to remember. Don't ever get old, Miles, my boy. It wreaks havoc on the thing. I'm to deploy my clue. I appreciate it if you'd stop playing the old man card. You remembered all the details of the evidence against Kay pretty clearly. Perhaps if your memory didn't fail you only when it was convenient, I'd be more inclined to believe you. So let me ask you again, who gave the order for Kay's arrest? You're a sharp one, I'll give you that. My son could learn a thing or two from you. If he wasn't such an incurable numbskull, that is. It's a tragedy, really. Sniffle. I don't want to hear about your son. I want to know who authorized the arrest. You're very mean. You know that, don't you? Sniffle. Arrest, you say? I believe the order was given by... you. Come now, Chairman Winner. We both know it was you. All right, you got me. You make it sound like it was somehow a bad thing, though. But I have a reputation to uphold, so I guess I'd better clear up this little misunderstanding. I'll entertain your questions for a few more minutes. Let's see if I can't put your mind at ease. The key thing to do now is to establish how intimately he knows the details of the case. Just have to ask the right questions. The endgame is at hand. We're but a few moves away from the truth. How many saves has this been, guys? The suspect, Kay Faraday. How much do you know about her exactly? I know that she's the suspect. Aside from that, not much else. Cross my heart, but it's true. Don't have a clue how to proceed with this line of questioning. Better try another check for tech for now. You seem to know the case in quite some detail. I know about lots of things, my boy. I'm just smart like that. Too bad the same can't be said about the way you handled Kay's arrest. Alright. I'm a very busy man. Try to remember that I can bring this little chat to an end whenever I so choose. It's only taking so long because you won't give me a straight answer to any of my questions. If only you'd stop giving me the runaround, we'd be done already. Let's try this again. You seem to know the details of the case quite intimately. Why is that? Because I'd read the case file. Not exactly the most thrilling use of my time, of course, but it's part of the job. I, Sniffle, have to be a good role model. I can't seem to be slacking. I can't be so hard. Sob. But I had some time on my hands, so I read the whole thing from cover to cover. You know nothing about this case, and I made all the important decisions isn't worrying at all. When said by the same people in the same sentence. Yeah, very, very sus. But did you really? I've got you now. You're backed into a corner and you don't even know it. Except, blah, 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 blah. Wait again. Nothing more to say? Wonderful. Then I'll be on my way. Nope. Oh, man. This one is so hard. It really is just random. There's no nothing to latch onto with this one. It's guess the right one and pray that you're right. That's strange. I could have sworn you just told me you're a very busy man. I'd say the cracks are finally starting to show, wouldn't you? If you're so keen on being an upstanding leader, you can start by releasing Kay. You know. You really don't give up, do you? It's a moving sight indeed, my boy. Sniffle? What a tragic one, too. After all, your efforts are for naught. I'm afraid your little friend was found unconscious near the scene of the crime. And there's even more. Unconscious by the scene of the crime. Nothing more to say? Wonderful, then I'll be on my way. Yeah, like I said, no trick to this one. Guess, guess, guess away. I've got you now. Yep. Luckily for me, I'm choosing all of the wrong answers. And by luckily, I mean unluckily. If I was never saving it, I would be on this for hours. Hours and hours and hours. We have yet to hear much about the circumstances under which Kay was found. She was lying unconscious in the storeroom, correct? That's right, although I'm not at liberty to tell you how I know that. He knows things even we didn't. In fact, he seems to be aware of every tiny detail about this case. This could be a valuable clue. And deploy my clue. Sorry, but the more you tell me, the less sense your story makes. For one thing, you know details that even those investigating the scene were not aware of. Why is that? Just how much do you really know, Chairman Winner? Oh, there's that intimidating face you like to make again. Well, two can play at that game. This game, how do you like me now, I'm gonna say nothing. I do have to commend you on your doggedness. It really is something. I'll take that as a compliment. Take it however you like, but wrap this up, will you? I, Sniffle, just don't have the stamina anymore. She's the culprit, the only possible suspect. Just accept that already. How much more evidence, Sub, did you want us to load her down with? For goodness sake. I'm gonna try the load her down with. Load her down with? Yet another interesting turn of phrase. One that makes it sound a lot like the items Kay was carrying might have been foisted upon her. Impressive. You really do pay attention, don't you? It's no wonder they used to call you a prodigy, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor. I think you know the answer to your own question by now. Why don't you just go ahead and say it? I want to hear it from you. It's finally time to shed light on the truth. All that's left is to play one last move. And let's see what that last move is. Kay is innocent? Kay is innocent. No, my boy, that's just clumsy. Anyone can blurt out baseless assertion like that, even a disgraced superstar prosecutor. Time to deploy my clue. If Kay was framed, the true culprit set it up so she would take the fall instead. That is my answer, and I won't let you deny it any longer. Oh. Nice. Oh, my, you really are a sharp one, It's a bit of a shame you chose to hand in your badge. I admit it, you're right on all accounts. And that's checkmate. He was waiting for it, for his beer to catch on fire. You knew Kay wasn't the real murderer, and yet you still had her arrested. What's worse, you thought you could get away with it. Well, you won't, not if I can help it. There you go with that naivete again, my boy. I guess that was always your problem. Thought he was going to set his beard and was going to catch on fire. And he deserved it. He did. I had a feeling that was going to happen too. I'm glad it did. With the girl arrested and the conviction secure, this whole mess goes away. And that's what will happen. But whose interest does a conclusion like that serve? The committee's, I suppose. And mine? Oh. You know, listening to you just now, well, it really got the tears flowing, I have to say. It was poignant and heartfelt and sincere and utterly infuriating. Look, I'm not perfect, I know that, but your lack of sophistication in these matters is beyond the pale. You insist that the truth is more important than anything else, but would you say the same if you knew what the real value of the truth is? What are you trying to say? When you get to my level, you don't uncover the truth. You make it, little by little. Kay Faraday, murder. That's the truth I created. Grrr. Yes, my boy, that's what I like to see. You're so sincere, sometimes it's painful. It just makes me want to put you in your place, knowing the real truth will get you nowhere, because that's how much it's worth. Nothing. Shocking, I know. But why not go after the real killer? How much do you even know about what really happened? You're still not getting it. That's your truth. And it is worthless. Mine is all that matters. You understand what I'm saying, don't you, Mr. Ex-Prosecutor? I have all the power here. Curse you! Well, aren't you menacing? You and your little friend are just as bad as each other. Violent crimes who deserve to be locked up. Criminals, rather. You'll pay for this. And with that, yet another person disappears from my life. Sniffle. Oh, it just makes me want to cry, and cry, and cry. How's it making his lighter flare up like that? Good question. I do not know, actually. I'm not planning to disappear just yet, Chairman Winner. There's still the hearing later today. Just you wait. One way or another, I'll prove Kay's innocence to the world then. Oh my gosh. I don't recognize anyone here. Just that person and Gavel over there. And why is Lotta here, by the way? 10 members over a majority are present. I hereby call this hearing to order. We are gathered here today to assess the professional competency of Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth. Here, in the sight of the goddess, we do solemnly swear to pass fair and frank judgment. Fair and frank? Don't make me laugh. Verity, if you would be so kind as to summarize the case against Mr. Edgeworth. Am I in trouble, guys? On April 5th, despite having been advised of the illegality of an investigation he was conducting, the accused refused to desist and eventually had to be detained by myself and Chairman Winner. His actions compromised the investigation into the murder of a certain defense attorney, and despite having been presented with copious evidence of her guilt, he continues to insist that the suspect, one K. Faraday, is innocent of all charges. Perhaps you could explain the details of the murder to us as well? Of course. On the morning of the 5th, the body of the victim was found here in the committee chamber. Further explanation will be provided by me, Eustace Winner, Premier Prosecutor. The floor is yours, Mr. Winner. The murder itself happened late on the night of the 4th. The victim was Miss Rosie Ringer. That same night, an illicit auction was being held here in this very room. Ringer took part in that auction, I think. Yeah. Meaning that the murder took place sometime during the auction. When she was found, Ringer was dressed in an outfit that matched the description of the auctioneers. However, due to the fact that the auction carried on after the murder had occurred, I deduced that Ringer was not in fact the auctioneer. You deduced nothing of the sort. And what about the basis on which the suspect was detained, Mr. Winner? Yeah, I got this. So Faraday was overcome by... crushing remorse, Eustace. Yeah, that. Tons of crushing remorse, so she confessed. According to her confession, she was on the roof of this building when she encountered a person in a red raincoat on the viewing platform. And that person was Miss Ringer, I take it? Precisely, Mr. Chairman. The killer dressed the victim in the auctioneer's outfit after the fact. But at the time she was killed, Miss Ringer was wearing a red raincoat. And who won the race to find that raincoat nearby? Me! That too! Did you? I thought it was somebody from forensics. Strictly speaking, it was found by one of the forensic investigators under Mr. Winner's command. I knew it! The blood analysis on the coat showed that it was indeed Miss Ringer who had worn it. And the suspect's confession was the final nail in the coffin. She confirmed having committed the murder. So as you can see, Kay Faraday was the killer. There's no way anybody else could have done it. Alright, Miles, I expect you to have some objections. Let's get them out of the way, shall we? I have no objections, Chairman Winner. Well now, is that so? I thought it would have taken more than a single night of detention to... No objections in the matter of my unauthorized investigation, that is. But in the matter of Miss Faraday's supposed guilt, I have plenty. I can personally attest to the fact that Mr. Winner's investigation was fair and impartial. Yeah, of course it was. When it comes to carefully conducted ops, I'm the winner every time. You know, Miles, it's within my power to offer you a plea deal of sorts. If, and this is purely hypothetical, of course, you were to withdraw your objections, you might wake up tomorrow to find yourself the proud owner of a seat on this committee. Oh, well. So I ask you again, do you have any objections, Mr. Edgeworth? If you think you can buy my silence, think again. You will watch your mouth, only if the chairman watches his. I did not come here to talk about committee seats. I came here to talk about the murder case. I demand a statement under oath, and I won't rest until I have one. Want to know exactly what the committee's view on the incident is. You want to put us on trial, my boy? Very well, if it will make you happy. Verity, please provide Mr. Edgeworth with the materials pertaining to the case. Really? But sir, this will be his last hurrah, so let's humor him with the send-off he desires. If you say so, Mr. Chairman. Oh, look, bribery. Bribery. Would he be in trouble for that? Bribery? You have no objections to Verity representing the committee, I assume? None whatsoever. Mr. Edgeworth. Don't worry, Kay. Everything will be fine. You'll see. As a rule, yeah. How has this whole committee just not been sacked already? Miss Ringer attended the auction as a potential buyer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale, so our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase. The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up to onto the roof. After she'd emerged onto the viewing platform, that's when Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. Shortly thereafter, her flame went out, and thus concludes the committee's view on the case. The raincoat was on offer that night. Is that really true? We believe so, yes. You remember the failed assassination attempt on the president of Zhangfa, I assume? The raincoat is a piece of evidence from that case. It should, of course, have remained safely under lock and key in the appropriate facility, but our inquiries reveal that it did in fact go missing under mysterious circumstances, and wound up in the auction along with everything else. That makes sense, I suppose. Wonderful work, Verity. Just wonderful. Crystal clear as ever. Chairman Winner really wants to recruit or disappear Edgy, huh? Yep, he does. The most sus here, we'll say. You flatter me, sir. Now, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you could save us all some time and simply admit defeat? I'll do no such thing, thank you very much. Very well. It's good to know that you still have some fight in you. It is? Why? Come to think of it, she said some strange things when she visited me this morning, too. What exactly is she up to? Is she up to something, guys? Miss Ringer attended the auction as a potential buyer.
Hold it!
In other words, a member of the committee wasn't actively involved in the illegal evidence trade. It is unfortunate. I don't know what else to say. And of course, we'd be looking into any such activities just as soon as this hearing is over and done with. I commend your decision to pursue the matter further, Mr. Chairman. Oh, don't be silly, Verity. It's the least we can do, really. Not that it's any of your business, Miles. Not anymore. Oh, if only you had remained a prosecutor. Sniffle, but you didn't. Now, if we're quite done making an old man cry over this whole sad affair. Very well, allow me to continue. The red raincoat was one of the items up for sale.
Hold it!
So the raincoat really was one of the auction lots. That's correct. I believe it originally belonged to a Mr. Shelley the Killer. Considering its status as a piece of evidence, it's the only logical conclusion. It's from when he made his attempt on the president's life. There was an unexplained mannequin standing amongst the other items for sale. It could well have been used to display the coat prior to the auction. Do we know how the items were being smuggled in? That is still under investigation and is entirely unrelated to the matter at hand. Especially considering that you will soon officially be a prosecutor no longer, Mr. Edgeworth. The killer? Good night, oh. Stars over Hyrule is going to bed. Good night, Stars. Yes, the killer. The killer's in this game too. But yep, take care, be awesome, and I'll see you tomorrow for more Zelders. It sounds like the outcome of this hearing is a foregone conclusion. No surprises there. My personal circumstances aren't important right now. Please continue, Your Honor. As I was saying, the raincoat was one of the items up for sale. So our assumption is that after winning and paying for it, she left the auction with her purchase.
Hold it!
Why did she leave so soon after making her purchase? Because of the auction house rules. Winning bidders are expected to pay for their items immediately. Miss Hart told us pretty much the same thing. Miss Ringer, having paid for the raincoat, probably left immediately afterwards in accordance with the rules. So they know about it? The only exit from the storeroom was, of course, the hatch leading up onto the roof.
Hold it!
Miss Ringer was a member of the committee. Could she not have left the committee chamber via the main door? While the auction was still underway, that would risk exposing its existence to those outside the truth's trusted circles of attendees. Given that Miss Hart found out about it, I think its existence is already well and exposed. The rules of the auction stated that attendees were to enter and leave via the hatch in the roof. Miss Ringer had no reason not to follow those rules, and given where the murder took place, we know that she must have done so. She emerged onto the viewing platform. That's where Miss Ringer was attacked by Miss Faraday. I might think it's this one. I could be jumping to conclusions or getting ahead of myself again like I always do. But, there's blood on the hand in this room here.
Objection!
Okay, I'm right. Yay! Maybe you can clear something up for me, Judge Gavel. But what is Miss Hart doing here at this hearing? She is an eyewitness. I thought it would be obvious. Well now, ain't really an eyewitness, more of an ear witness, I guess. Heh, she's not exactly the most confident, inspiring choice to help you make your case, is she? I like to think I chose my allies a little more carefully than you, Mr. Edgeworth. Then you should question them more thoroughly, because there's something she hasn't told you. Take a look at this. It's a photo taken by Miss Hart. Yes, in the storeroom, correct? What of it? According to your theory, the murder occurred up on the roof. But according to Miss Hart's testimony, she happened to witness the entire incident unfold in the storeroom, just before she took this picture. Wait, you're saying Gavel got it? Wrong. That's exactly what I'm saying. What? Miss Hart, if I may confirm your account of the events you witnessed that night, you saw the person in the picture, correct? I sure did, clear as day, and with my own 2 eyes to boot. And what were your impressions at that point? My impressions? This right here is the scoop of the century, something like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Ahem. I was hoping more for your impressions of the person in question. Oh, that there's a walking meal ticket? Seriously? Just my little joke. No need to look at me like I done sat on your lunch. All red raincoat, right? Why, I took one look and I thought that's our perp right there. And therein lies the rub. For Miss Hart to have thought such a thing means that the murder... Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, when will you learn to use your words? If it's an explanation of the facts that you require, you need only ask, you know. What do you mean? I assume you're about to raise an issue of the voices Miss Hart heard. The voices that may be unrelated. Unrelated, you can do better than that. Was one of the voices Miss Hart heard really even Miss Ringer's? You're kidding me, right? Them folks were talking crime-related turkey or my name ain't Lotta Dang Hart. Ah, but did you hear them clearly? Well, can't rightly say for sure, but... Yeah, I can't rightly say nothing and you know it. They's using voice changers. I done told you that. Y'all that? Precisely. Miss Hart heard voices, but those voices were disguised. Which means we cannot even be certain that whatever she did over here had anything to do with the murder. Heh. You don't need to yell objection in order to sigh at me, Mr. Edgeworth. It seems I overestimated you, Judge Gavel. Nonsense. Verity's the best of us, my boy. The very best. And yet she believes that what Miss Hart heard might not and she believes that what Miss Hart heard might not have had anything to do with the murder. Even supposing that's the case, doesn't prove the murder didn't happen in the storeroom. The incident happened before the victim was able to go up to the roof. Not much we can say for certain, and I can tell you why. This proves that the incident happened before the victim went up to the roof. I'm gonna say the blood.
Take that!
We initially thought the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Yes, because Miss Hart said as much. Indeed, she told us that about the blood she saw on this person's hand, and I doubt many people would have thought differently given her testimony. Ergo, if this person is the killer, then the blood we see would be from when they attacked the victim. But knowing that what we know now, that this person is in fact the victim, it recontextualizes everything. The presence of the blood still shows that the picture was taken after the attack, but now it tells us something very important about the victim too. Oh, damn it! The victim was the ringleader? Or survived the attack? Let's try survive the attack. Okay, there's no doubt in my mind that the victim was attacked in the storeroom, but here we have a photographic evidence of her standing upright and alive, albeit with a bloody hand. This can only mean that Mr. Ringer survived the attack. The blood on her hand is from the wound she had sustained. What are you talking about? Who dies from a hand wound? The wound wasn't on her hand, Mr. Winner. I imagine she used her hand to try to staunch a wound. That's right. While it's impossible to tell from this angle, the victim was already mortally wounded here. Oh, well that certainly would change things, wouldn't it? It would very much would, not least by making it absurd to suggest that Kay was the attacker. Her encounter with the victim happened after this picture had been taken. After the victim had already been attacked and was in critical condition, I put it to you that all Kay witnessed was the victim, finally succumbing to her wounds. That would have been quite the coincidence. It's a textbook case of wrong place, wrong time, I'd say. You seem to be forgetting a rather important fact, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, that or pretending not to remember it. What? What fact am I forgetting? I think it's time to wrap things up, don't you, Verity? Let the boy out of his misery. Dad, Cavell works for me. Why do you keep giving her orders? That's my job. You really are, Sniffle, a total and utter embarrassment. I'm not. I hate to break it to you, but you both are. Go to it, Cavell. Put Edgeworth out of his misery. As you wish. Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in its chest, and we all know what those wounds are from, don't we? That's right, they're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum. I doubt anybody could survive such grave wounds. You care to read the coroner's report? I'm sure you would change your tune. Nicely done, Cavell. Now Edgeworth will have to make several objections. Yes, I'm afraid I will. What? Why? Weren't you listening? No, I was listening. Very carefully, in fact. Hence my objections. Come on, why do you always have to undermine me? That's never my intention, I assure you. It isn't? Because you do it, well, you do it so well to yourself every single time already. Of course it isn't. Yeah, I knew that. Because I'm... Please, Eustace, just stop for goodness sake. You've already embarrassed me enough. Huh? What do you mean, Dad? What a nice father. Miss Ringer's body was found with 3 wounds in its chest.
Hold it!
I have to remember what evidence I have now. There's the raincoat, box, chamber blood, the statement, this too, key card. What's the statement again? Alright. 3 wounds. Seriously, why is Eustace still here? I don't know. He's just being picked on now. He's his father's punching bag. Yes. Which is why we must see that the perpetrator of the cruel act pays for their sins. Don't listen to her, Kay. She's just trying to scare you. We could please continue on, Judge Cavell. Very well. As I was saying, there were 3 wounds. And we all know what those wounds are from, don't we?
Hold it!
I do, but perhaps we should ask Mr. Winner. He does, I'm sure. Don't you, Eustace? Who, me? Oh, you bet I do. I know this case inside out. Who does he think he's fooling? Eustace, my boy, make an old man happy and at least glance at the coroner's report, would you? Sure, let's see. Yada yada, 3 puncture wounds, blah blah, candle holder. No way, that's what they used? Crazy. Ahem, precisely. The wounds were inflicted just as Eustace says. That's right, they're from when she was stabbed in the chest by a 3-armed candelabrum.
Hold it!
And you're sure that the stabs to the chest were the cause of death? There's no doubt about that? None. One of the spikes of the candelabrum even pierced the victim's heart. And unless you mean to call Dr. Hertz's professional opinion into question, we can only treat that as fact. The coroner's opinion backing up my own winning ones. Now that's what I call a flawless victory. Well, I'm certainly not about to ignore this coroner's findings. Hey, what about my findings? You can't just ignore them. But if the cause of death really was the puncture wounds to the chest from the candelabrum, that would seem to contradict one of the pieces of evidence we've gathered. Ugh, great. Which one is it? He's ignoring me. Do something, Cavell. As you wish. At the very least, I will ensure that he cannot ignore my own conclusions. What does it contradict, guys? What does it contradict? I don't know. 3-armed candelabrum. This maybe? Or maybe the thing itself?
Objection!
Nope. Well, guys, I haven't used the guide this entire stream so far. But, something tells me it's time. Maybe the blood?
Objection!
Yeah. Whoops, whoops, whoops. The coat, maybe?
Objection!
Okay, it's the coat. Why is it the coat? Chairman Winner, you know what this is, of course. No, I don't know what that is. What is it?
Objection!
What I said before. This red raincoat. That's right, isn't it, Verity? Or the red raincoat. Yes, sir. The one Miss Ringer was wearing. I warn you, Mr. Edgeworth, you will not be thanked for retreading old ground here. I'm afraid I might have to I might have to regardless. Now then, if you'll answer me this, Judge Cavell. You told us that the victim's bloodstains were found on the coat, but do you remember where exactly they were found? Of course, they were found on the hood, and... No! Excuse me. Huh? What's the matter, Verity? The hood, and... Was blood found anywhere else on the raincoat? No, it was not. Doesn't that strike you as odd? The victim died of stab wounds to the chest. Wouldn't that lead one to expect to find bloodstains in that area? And yet, there was blood only on the hood? That's a glaring contradiction if I ever saw one. The head wound the victim suffered wasn't just some incidental injury. It was inflicted before the stab wounds to her chest. Perhaps you are correct. Perhaps the victim did sustain the head injury first. As you said, if she had been stabbed first, there should be blood in the chest area of the raincoat. Therefore, Miss Ringer cannot have been stabbed before the head injury had been inflicted on her. But even if we concede this point, that the head injury came before the chest wound, what difference would it make? How does it change our understanding of the case? I'd say it changes things a great deal. In fact, it raises an even more fundamental contradiction. That is quite the bold claim, Mr. Edgeworth. I have to admit, you have me intrigued. Better save the game again. Perhaps you could show us this fundamental contradiction with some evidence. Order of injuries. I have no idea, guys. Box maybe? Or the chamber blood?
Take that!
Let's go in order, shall we? Yeah, Yep, I don't know what that evidence is, though. The raincoat? Again? Nope. The box. The elevator blood. The picture. The masks.
Take that!
Oh, I wish I was smart, guys. The victim's letter. The body. Captain Chip says the body. This one?
Take that!
Yep. Why is it the body? I have no idea. Why wouldn't the body show the order the wounds were given in? Huh? Why wouldn't the body show the order the wounds were given in? I don't know what that means. Sorry.
Take that!
This is Dr. Hertz's preliminary findings, according to which the victim suffered a head injury post-mortem. Like, what does that mean? What does post-mortem mean? These are words that you would need to learn before you would even approach this game. But the order suggested by the bloodstains and the raincoat is exactly the opposite, yes. After death? Why not just say after death then? God, these humans. Bailiff, this court hereby subpoenas Dr. Hilda Hertz to the committee's chamber without due haste. Until she testifies, this case cannot be brought to a close. Yes, Your Honor. I'll go fetch her at once. Medical and legal terminology. Yeah. And I am not a legal person that's good, or even a medical person that's even a 1% good. Unfortunately, Dr. Hertz is a very busy woman. I doubt she will be able to come immediately. In the meantime, there is another important angle I would like to explore. Frankly, something has been bothering me about the person at the heart of this case, the so-called ringleader. Who exactly are they? Yeah, good point. We never looked into that, huh? Despite having been mentioned repeatedly in this hearing, we still don't even know the most basic facts that might help us uncover their identity. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any thoughts on the matter? We've seen nothing that might serve as a clear evidence of the auctioneer's identity as of yet, but there is someone involved with the case that I can name. Let's save the case again. Suspect that at the very least they might be able to point us in the right direction. And that's Chairman Winner. I demand that you testify as to what you know. Well, what? Are you crazy? Why would you accuse my dad? It would cast doubt on the integrity of the chairman of the committee. Do you understand the implications of such an act? I don't care who or what he is. We're talking about the truth here, and about a man who seems dead set on framing Kay at all costs. The mask, corsage, ticket stub, and everything else, the items Kay was carrying when she was found, they were deliberately placed in her possession somehow by Chairman Winner himself. A shocking accusation, and one I find hard to believe, but for the sake of completeness, I must ask, why would he do such a thing? To cast suspicion on Kay, of course. Why else? Even managed to get him to say something to that effect. Chairman Winner, your rebuttal, please. I think the good chairman might be in shock. So what if I did? Did you hear me, dear boy? I said, so what if I did? You say you got me to admit as much, but where is your proof, With no witness to speak of, your word alone is hardly enough to make an accusation like that stick. Or do you mean to tell us that you have something more to base your outburst on? Still has the arrogance he shows back at the detention center, and yet... Mr. Edgeworth, I am going to have to ask you to explain yourself. That is all right, Mr. Chairman. Not at all. I'll be very interested to hear this for myself. I'm intrigued to learn where Miles might have gotten the idea that I'm some sort of criminal, because you'll never find a more fine and upstanding citizen than myself. He has a lot of nerves acting all innocent like that. Very well, let's start at the very beginning. The fact that the auction took place right here in this hallowed trial chamber is a point of suspicion, a location that should by right only be accessible to members of the committee. Yeah, they all have the keycards to the room after all. Furthermore, these auctions seem to be held on a somewhat regular basis. And for that to be possible, there can only be one winning explanation. But that's right, Mr. Winner, that the auctioneer is a member of the committee. What? No! Ark, what on earth is wrong now? What do I do, Dad? I played right into his hands. Oh, you did indeed, you utter nitwit. But Miles, my boy, do you realize that you've cast quite the wide net with your explanation? That's true. There are 11 members of the committee altogether, 10 given Miss Ringer's unfortunate passing, 10 potential suspects in total. Well, it certainly isn't me. And it can't be the chairman, can it? Whoever it is, speak up, right now. Come, calm down all of you, please. Well, Miles, is that all the proof you've got against me? Heh, you're very quiet all of a sudden, but it's too late to back out now. You've accused the former chief prosecutor and current committee chairman of a crime. Get. I would tell you to prepare for the worst. No, preparing for what you're about to face. Oh boy. You've been forcing us to argue over every little detail for a while now. Where the murder happened, the order of the victim's injuries, some other things I hardly even remember. But you needn't have bothered, my boy, because it's all irrelevant in the end. Think about it. The suspect herself has already said she did it. That's all that matters at the end of the day, and her sentence will be lighter for it, so rejoice. And there you have it. Feel free to pick holes in it as you see fit. How can I when that was barely a testimony to begin with? That man, he's a very powerful person, isn't he? It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. Please, just let it go. I did it. I'm the murderer. I even remember doing it. You saw a flash of something half-remembered, Kay. Nothing more. You must believe in something. Believe me when I say you should believe in your own innocence instead. But I'm up against the head of the committee here. Isn't going to be easy. But he seems to think he's already won. Perhaps I can use that against him. You've been forcing us to argue over every little detail for a while now.
Hold it!
Even if the broad strokes are correct, it doesn't make something true. Oh, don't be such a stick in the mud. I'd say the bigger picture is more than enough here. After all, every case has its little inconsistencies and contradictions. We let ourselves get bogged down in every single one. We never make any arrests. And once we did, the trials would drag on forever. Even you understand that, right? Not in the slightest, hence my inquiry into the details. Oh, to be so young and pig-headed. Sniffle! Anyway, you keep digging into these little details. When the murder happened, the order of the victim's injuries, some other things I hardly even remember.
Hold it!
I seem to recall the ringleader's identity and the faulty coroner's report being critical points of contention. Yes, I was listening, my boy, but critical is a matter of opinion. How can you possibly suggest that such fundamental issues are not important? Perhaps it is your ability to make sound judgments that should be on trial here today. Oh ho ho ho! Bravo, my young hothead. Wonderfully cutting stuff. You do like to try, though, don't you? But you needn't have bothered, my boy, because it's all irrelevant in the end.
Hold it!
Hiya! Hey, Sneakers! Haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see ya. How have you been? You're just in time for a big cross-examination thingy. There's no way any of what we've discussed today is irrelevant, not unless you intend to bury the truth. But none of it is relevant, dear boy. The only reason you keep trying to make it relevant is because otherwise, you're up a creek without a paddle. Think about it. The suspect herself has already said she did it.
Hold it!
Just because she confessed to something doesn't make it the truth. You're a bit better now? That's good. I'm glad you're feeling all better. What have you been up to besides, like feeling better and getting better? Kay is suffering from amnesia, so any statements she makes should be taken with at least a grain of salt.
Objection.
Oh, even he's saying it now. Even so, it doesn't exactly solve anything for us, does it, dear boy? And it would be nonsensical to dismiss her confession outright. I tell you what, why don't we ask her one last time, though I'm sure she'll just say she did it again. Fine, let's do it. Let's ask her again. We'll see if she really believes herself to be the culprit. Huh? You mean me? Is this really what you want, Mr. Edgeworth? If it goes badly, it could significantly weaken your position. I know, but there's no other way. I only request that I be the one to question her. You really? Best viewers on! Shifting Rampage! Oh, thank you! Found out a friend from school passed away in his sleep. Jesus. I'm really sorry to hear that, Sneakers. My condolences to you. You know, how to tug at an old man's heartstrings, you know, Sniffle? Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's super rough. If you want to talk about it, I'm always here for you. You know, right? On one condition. If this turns out to be a waste of time, that's it. We'll call the proceedings to an end, and then and there. Agreed? Call the proceedings to an end? You mean the hearing? Yes, dear boy, that's right. Perhaps you aren't a complete muddlehead after all. Now, just so we're clear, if we ask again and all that happens is the girl confirms her guilt, she is officially declared guilty on the spot. Yes, that sounds like a great plan if I do say so myself. That's it. Just declare her guilty just like that. That's the gist of it. It's a big risk, but he's going to find a way to condemn her either way if we don't do something. Kay? Yes? I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to think. Do you remember anything else about what happened on the day of the murder? Anything that might help us prove your innocence? Why? Why are you still fighting it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's no use. I can't be of help to you. I'm sorry. I'm too scared to try and remember anymore. What if I remember something even worse? And if I did, I'd just be making more trouble for you. Please, just accept it. The Kay you thought you knew is a dangerous criminal. A criminal who let you down and betrayed your trust. Don't worry, Kay. You have nothing to be afraid of. I may not have known you for very long, but I know you well enough. And right now, I'd say I know you better than you know yourself. You would never commit a murder. You could never, because this is who you really are. This.
Take that!
You're the great thief Yatagarasu, a noble outlaw who would never stoop so low as to kill. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Because all I can see is the one memory that's returned. I have to face it.
Hold it!
No, the only evidence of your guilt is the confession they forced out of you. As I said earlier, you have to believe that you're better than that. Or are you saying you don't believe a word of what I've been telling you? No, it's not that. You're trying so hard to help me, and you're risking so much for me. It's too much. You have to stop. I'm begging you. So that's what's going on. I thought it was strange, but now I see. The reason you're allowing yourself to be railroaded into accepting your fate is because of me, isn't it? Which is exactly what the K I know would have done. You're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I'm not, and I don't plan on becoming one anytime soon. Because despite all your wishes to the contrary, I'm still trying to help you. So you see, I'm really been servicing my own ego regardless of what I put you through. Now, let's try this again. See the good in yourself, Kay. Remember the noble thief you truly are. The memory of you committing the murder, you need to question it with all you have. That's all I ask. So please, do it for me. Kay. What's wrong? Did you remember something? Ho ho, it'd be like some cliche movie plot if she did. A cow. A cow? Mr. Edgeworth, if you could perhaps ask her for a few more details. Well, Kay, what can you tell us about this cow? I remember now. The person in the red raincoat, she had it in her hand. Oh, a stuffed cow. I can see it so clearly now. Are you sure, Miss Faraday? Are you absolutely certain? Yes, I'm sure. Then this court acknowledges the defendant's latest statements as new testimony.
Objection.
Have you lost your mind, Verity? You can't accept a testimony like this. With all due respect, Mr. Chairman, information pertaining to the victim and her possessions is new and highly relevant evidence.
Objection.
Need I remind you of this addled state of her memory? No, this simply won't do. Addled? But if we claim her memory is unreliable now, then our own argument is weakened, sir. You said yourself only a few minutes ago that thanks to the suspect's confession, we need not worry ourselves over the finer details, did you not? Were we to call the validity of her memories into question? And we must also call into question the confession on which our entire argument is based. Is that really the most advisable course of action? Yes, you're right. Proceed as you see fit, then. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're still in the game, but only by the skin of our teeth, and only thanks to Judge Gavel's intervention. It's almost as if she was on our side for a second. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, the stuffed animal. I believe the cow in question is this thing here, Your Honor. We found it in the storeroom, and I believe it is yet another auction lot. Wait, that's... Do you know something, Gavel? No, it's just not what I imagine. I suppose it is a rather odd thing for the victim to have been carrying. Should look over it carefully. There's... Oh. Cherry blossom. There's a cherry blossom on petal caught in the fur here. There were petals on the raincoat, too, and a cherry tree in bloom up on the viewing platform. It would definitely appear that this was taken outside at some point. But what did the victim want with this thing? Something in the ear, maybe? The left horn is missing. This hole. It looks like that's where the horn would have gone, but that doesn't look like stuffing in there. So what is it? Let's take a look at the rest of this toy and see what else we can find. The butt? No, the ring. The smuggling ring. The other horn. The right arm seems intact, but I can't say it's doing much for the overall symmetry of this stuffed toy. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, it moves. It does? It sounds like sand being crushed? It would seem there's a recording device hidden inside. And...
I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can hide that burn from me. Nothing to say for yourself. I've waited so long for this day, and now I'll finally have my revenge.
Could this be the moment of the murder? And someone made a recording of it. Ha 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 ha. Hey, that's them right there. Them's the voices I heard. Sure as eggs is eggs. Unfortunately, we have no way of verifying when these voices were recorded. It's possible they have nothing to do with the murder. If only there was some accompanying video footage. You got bugs in your ears or something, lady? I done told ya. Them's the voices I heard. And we already know the victim was holding that thing, right? So it's gotta be from when she got. Yes, it is a possibility, but a weak one without more than your word to back it up. We need something more, something credible. We need? Yet again, she seems to be stepping in to help. Judge Gavel, I think we all know the voices are coming from the moment of the murder. Consider for a moment the words we heard on one of the speakers say, "I knew it was you the moment I laid eyes on you. You can't hide that burn from me." I believe we have something that could explain what these words are referring to and how it's all related. Which pieces of evidence proves that the voices are from when the murder occurred? There's a thing that shows the burn? Burn mark.
Take that!
Wacha-cha-cha. The coroner's preliminary findings? How did they prove anything? Indeed, what on this page shows that the voices must be heard from this time of the murder? The burn mark. The burn mark. You see it?
Take that!
I was gonna say, if that wasn't the right answer, I would have raged. Think again on the words we heard. This part in particular sticks out in my mind. You can't hide that burn from me. The victim had a prominent burn mark on the back of her right hand. And what of it? According to Kay's testimony, the victim was carrying the stuffed cow toy, and a burn mark, an identifying mark unique to the victim, was mentioned on the recording it captured. Huh, it's just a coincidence. Stuff like that happens all the time, right? I'm not so sure that it does, especially not in this case. The court accepts that the recording may be from the time of the murder, in which case one of the two voices must belong to the real culprit, and based on the content of the conversation, it seems likely that it's the one we hear the most. But that still doesn't tell us anything about the killer's true identity, or even if they're male or female. Due to the voice changers correct, unfortunate but unavoidable. One thing, however, has become clear. We are now able to say that the voices Miss Hart heard were those of Miss Ringer and her killer. Just like I done told you they was. We can say something else now, too. Then let's hear it. That is, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman. Do as you wish. According to Miss Hart, just before the murder occurred, two people came up to the storeroom from the committee chambers on the elevator. The ringleader and one of the auction attendees. It seemed that this was the point in which the money exchanged hands. The murder happened immediately afterward, and the auction carried on after that, all of which points to one key fact. What else does the latest revelation tell us? The ringleader was the killer, Miss Ringer was the killer, the ringleader was of the victim. Since the ringleader was the auction's sole auctioneer, then it follows that they cannot be the victim. Hey, Gavel. Now, right now, Eustace, there's a good boy. And if they weren't the victim, then they could only have been the killer. A compelling argument, but hardly conclusive. I'm fully aware of that, Your Honor. I was merely warming up for the main event. There were certain traces left on the scene that seemed to suggest that the ringleader was the killer. Then please hurry up and show us. Yep, let's see him again. What is something that was placed on the scene that points to the ringleader as having been the killer? I don't remember. I don't. Maybe this?
Take that!
Nope. Time to play a game of keep choosing the right one until we find the right one. Or keep choosing evidence until we find the right one. Wanted to hide. I have no idea what they would want to hide. The blood? The anything in that room? my god, stop talking. The blood. Okay, it's the blood. I see the time, don't worry. Don't worry, fellas. Don't worry. It's the blood! The killer deliberately left a large pool of blood at the foot of the goddess of justice statue. It was due to that blood that we originally thought the murder had happened in the chamber, but it was simply a ruse designed to cover up the blood that had dripped down from the storeroom. In order to conceal the existence of the underground auction, correct? Correct! If the culprit had nothing to do with the auction, they would have no reason to cover up that blood, which further supports the theory that the ringleader and the killer were one and the same. And as to the identity of the ringleader, do we have anyone you'd like to name? The auction is always held in this committee chamber, with its storeroom located just overhead. At the very least, we know the murderous ringleader has some connections to the committee. Yes, yes. And you suspect me, correct? As the committee's most powerful member, that should hardly a surprise, right?
Objection.
You're a fine prosecutor, that much I'll give you. But as I think I may have mentioned already, you're also hopelessly naive. You've got nothing, dear boy, have you? No evidence whatsoever? Unless you've got something to share after all. Kirk, do I have any evidence to show him that Chairman Winter is the murderer? Maybe not right now. It was Chairman Winter himself who brought up the fact that I suspected him, and he seemed confident right from the get-go that he's untouchable, which means he knows I have nothing. Oh, well, Miles, my boy, time to pay you the piper. I've always wanted to say that. Verity, he's all yours. Wait, dang it, I just remembered something. Huh? Did you have amnesia too? Nah, it just done came to me. Flash of inspiration, you know how it is. Very well, say your piece.
Objection.
What are you doing, Verity? Mr. Edgeworth has made it clear that he won't give up until every last lick of hope has been extinguished. So extinguish we must, lest he try to drag us through this excruciating process again in the future. Yeah, what she said. I don't quite get it, but it sounded pretty cool. Don't worry, Dad. I'll help Gavel bring this to a winning finish. We'll show them how wrong they are. Fine, let's hear what the witness has to say. You heard the chairman, Miss Hart, if you would be so kind. Well, all right then. Here goes nothing. The facts, Miss Hart, and nothing but the facts, please. Don't you worry your pretty little head on that front. I'm a journalist. Truth's my middle name. Color me officially worried. So the ringleader's the killer, right? Which makes the victim one of them auction goers. Alright. This is going on a little bit long, so I'm gonna call it here, guys. We will hear Lotta's statement tomorrow, in 2 days, and hopefully finish the case. And then we'll move on to case 5! But yeah, take care, guys. It's bedtime. Thank you all for stopping by and watching, and I'll see all of you tomorrow for some more games. Bye-bye!